Welcome to the Infinity Bros podcast, the only podcast that's perfectly balanced as all things should be. My name is Isaac Edlin. I am your host tonight, and we are live with our 2024 StanLee Awards. Doing that again, Robbie. You're getting me every time with that. So, without further ado, I have 5 other bros. That's right, we have all 6 Infinity Bros joining us. One from his PS5, even, for some reason. So, why don't we go ahead and introduce him first? It is the enigma of the Infinity Bros universe. It's Zane Ellis.
Hello, we're excited. Let's get after it. Yeah.
Great intro. Zane, can you tell us why you're joining from your PS5 today?
Because why not? No one said I couldn't.
All right. There you have it, folks. Next up, we have the Magic the Gathering guru of the Infinity Bros podcast. It's Jared Curtis.
Hello, I'm here too.
There's Jared. He is here as well. The other guy that also plays Magic, that you might know from our socials, it's Robbie Sauter.
Hi, I'm thrilled to be here tonight to finally get these StanLees in. I am shaking with anger at Zane, and I'm glad everyone else is here, and I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here with all of you except for Zane.
Later on this podcast, we just see Robbie flip his desk over and storm out of the room. It's probably.
I mean, if Zane had his camera on, you would see me in his background strangling him, but you're not gonna be able to see it.
You won't see it. You'll
I've only seen the reverse happen. So.
And he who
we don't talk about that.
spoke, the tinfoil hat and carrot distributor of the Infinity Bros universe, it's Mark Jones.
Glad to be here. It's amazing that it's been 7 years of doing this, or 5 years?
7 if you count Infinity or the Off Topic Gamers. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be coming up on 6-year anniversary in April this year, so kind of wild. Crazy.
6 smooches for all of us.
That's what I heard. That's the podcast minimum.
This is
6 years.
6 years. This is like our golden anniversary year. I guess we might have to do something special. Maybe get like a TikTok of Mark kissing each of us or something.
I'd be down.
I think that's exactly what we need to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
just one gross
over the threshold of.
Last but certainly not least, it's the prodigal son of the Infinity Bros universe. Max Mosier comes back to join us for the StanLee Awards. Thanks for joining us, Max.
Glad to be here. I think it's really crazy that NBC planned their 50th SNL night and the NBA planned their All-Star game on the same night as the StanLees. So a lot of competition, but
it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's
we
getting
told
out of
them
control.
in advance. Yeah, we told them in advance.
We did give them warning,
I'm just thankful for those that understand their priorities, and we're glad to be here. So yeah.
It's going to be a great night. We have a lot of things planned, but for those of you who have not listened to the Infinity Bros, we are 6 hosts. Our normal episodes have usually 2 to 3 of us on at a time. Actually, one of the latest ones also has Max, so he's making a comeback. Basically, he might be getting
2 in a row.
Getting up the ranks of the Infinity Bros podcast appearances with the.
How many more do I need to do before Zane is like back to full-fledged Enigma?
That's a great question. I'm gonna have to count up the appearances for real. I've said I had to do that for a while. Might have to do that at work this weekend or something like that. But yeah, it's going to be a great episode. For those of you who have joined us on StanLee Awards nights before, we have 4 categories that we go through for our best and worst of 2024. So we're going to be showing you our favorite movies, TV shows, our Infinity Gems, which are kind of just anything that doesn't fit in movie, TV show categories. Could be video games, could be events, could be literally anything. And then our last category is our Bob Kane Awards, which is the worst things of 2024. So a lot of different things, and feel free to chime in on chat. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight. But before we get going, I did want to do a little bit of a Snap Squad segment. Snap Squad.
Nap
Yeah, that was the cue for everybody to say something. So
Good job, Max.
great job. Way to go, everybody. But I just wanted to shout out our patrons. We have some awesome patrons that support us, and for as low as $2 a month, you guys can also get in on the patrons.
Yeah. Patron is what helps feed Zane.
Helps
Sex throat out.
Zane.
That's how he gets his biscuits.
Until he officially gets married and doesn't have to buy Taco Bell every day of his life anymore. But yeah,
It'll be a sad day for Zane.
It will
Well, if
be
he moves
sad.
to Wilmer, there's still a Taco Bell, so he'll be fine.
It is. There's actually going to be a Taco Bell right across the street from where we're going to live. So
Wow, look at you.
I'm moving up in the world, boys.
Oh man, good things for Zane, right? But I
God
wanted
bless
to,
your
wanted
future
to
wife.
shout out each and every patron member of the Infinity Bros. Thank you guys so much. Chris Meyer, Joy Flyer, Caleb, LJ. We got Matthew Leathers, Ryan Felton, and Scott Higa. You guys rock, and we love you 3000. Yeah, awesome. All right, guys, are you guys ready to dive into the StanLee?
Absolutely. Let's do this.
Is that a rhetorical question? Should we all answer at once?
Yeah, you
or-
could
Board
answer it
ready.
once. Yeah.
I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Do we rank how ready we are? Like, who's the most ready and the least ready?
Zane's the least
Oh.
ready.
Top
He doesn't even
6
have a camera.
most ready Infinity Bros.
Is there a bro that has 6 things on all 4 of his categories? They would be the most ready. So Isaac wins. So Isaac, then Mark.
Mark,
Okay,
thank
got
you.
it. 1 and 2.
I'm glad I'm not the
Perfect.
only one. Mark, you rock.
I'm
wanna
just
be
gonna put
over-prepared.
Zane on my Bob Kane
Isn't
here.
supposed to show up there. All right. Okay, I'm going to keep track of the tallies, but we're going to be going through our movies and our TV shows first. And then I will tally up the amount of votes basically for each category. And then at the end of each category, we'll reveal our StanLee Award for each of those categories. So, movies first, guys. Let's go. I've got the order on here. Max, Isaac, Mark, Zane, Jarrett, Robbie. We'll do that, and then we'll reverse it for TV shows. How does that sound?
Snake drafted.
All right, and we're doing our top 6. So we'll just do one at a time. So Max, go ahead with your number.
Snaking it,
6
snake
movie.
draft. Okay.
Yeah, number 6 for me is Trapped, starring Josh Hartnett, the M. Night Shyamalan movie. Yeah, I don't know how much this is going to appear on lists, but I thought it was well done. I thought I was kind of hoping for a little bit of a more dark or brooding twist than just him being a killer. Spoiler alert. But
Oh.
yeah.
Now the move's ruined. Thanks.
Wow.
Oh, wow,
Sorry, the
thanks.
movie's
a lot,
ruined now.
Max.
Yeah, that's definitely not part of any of the marketing for it at all. So yeah, I
Joke's
thought it was
on
well
you.
done.
I didn't even know
thought-
there was marketing for it.
There you go. So yeah, M. Night Shyamalan, I thought made a great comeback here, given some of the movies he's made recently. So yeah, Trap.
All right.
All right.
LJ, thank you for that resub. You rock, man. All right, my number 6. Now I gotta pull my list up here. I already actually we kind of talked about it a little bit pre-show, but movies was kind of a tough list because I just feel like there weren't that many great movies, and especially ones that I actually went to in theaters this year. So my number 6 is Transformers 1. It surprised me because I'm not a big Transformers guy, and sure, the live action ones are all fun, and they're kind of like, in my eyes, they're kind of like the Fast and Furious movies. Like, they're good, fun action watches, but like whatever, like I'm not gonna die on that hill. I'll let Zane do that for me. But Transformers 1 was a really solid animated movie. It was really great. The voice acting was phenomenal. Just all around. I was surprised, and it was actually more like heartwarming and emotional than I expected too. So it was, I think, probably the most complete best representation of a Transformers movie we've gotten yet, honestly. So there you go. There's my number 6. Mark, what's yours?
My number 6 is also Trap. It's like Max's, so.
Wow.
Wow.
It was-
Wow.
Wow.
M Night Shyamalan just bringing something, different and new. And like Max said, basically the whole trailer is Josh Hartnett, but how do we get from point A to point B is what's fun. So, Trap number 6.
All right. Zane, you're up.
All right. Well, my number 6, because I was starting to look through it. I think I only went to 7 movies all of this year.
Wow, that's crazy.
So my number 6 is Red One. A fun little Christmas flick.
Ew.
Why?
Well, the thing
Because
okay.
I only went to 7 movies all year.
You didn't watch any movies at home?
That's not even an excuse though, because like movies come out a month after on streaming these days. Like
Red One was out 2 weeks after it was in the theater.
To be fair, I get not seeing a lot of movies. I didn't see a lot this year either. But Red One?
Zane, you don't have to go to the theater. You can watch movies at home too.
that's Zane's.
Yeah, they make
bread
good
and butter,
movies
isn't
that
it?
you can stream. I don't know if you know.
I'm
that.
confused. All right. I'm really interested in Zane's list right now.
I gotta tell you, I am shocked that the guy who is not showcasing his face right now, doing this on a PlayStation, has only seen 7 movies this year.
Yeah, that's
That
crazy.
Makes no sense.
Great point. All right, Jarrett, hit us with your number 6.
I'm gonna go with Mad Max Furiosa. I watched this on a plane.
Thought about it.
It was one that I missed completely because I was like, I'm not super interested. The first one was pretty good, but the second one I actually really enjoyed. I think they did a lot, and it was weird to see Chris Hemsworth in like a very different role from what he normally plays. Obviously, he was still his like goofy, kind of over the top self, but him as the bad guy was kind of cool. He should be cast in villain roles way more.
I liked him too. He was good. It was a good film. All right, Robbie, close us out with your number 6.
Yeah, Furiosa was close to being on this list. It dropped out last minute to the same as Isaac, Transformers 1. Put that on my list. It was such an underrated movie. Did not get talked about as much as it should have, but really, really enjoyable. You got to see Optimus Prime and Megatron in their kind of upbringing story and see how everything was going on Cybertron. Yeah, it's a very solid movie. My kids loved it. We watched it probably 4 times the weekend that we bought it at home, and yeah, it was great. Loved it.
Nice. There you go. All right, Robbie, hit us with your number 5 now. Snake Draft.
Oh, sweet. We'll go right to number 5 is Saturday Night. This was on Netflix, I believe. I should have double checked. I'm pretty sure this came out in 2024, like right at the end of 2024.
Yeah.
I really, really enjoyed Saturday Night. It's all about kind of the up and coming show of getting Saturday Night Live like on air. And it kind of showed the first night. It's a gosh, how do you explain it? It's like an ADHD like mind just everywhere. The movie is everywhere, but it's really, really fun, really, really engaging. Fun to put that out there for I didn't even realize Saturday Night Live's 50th year anniversary or whatever was tonight, but yeah, Saturday Night is my number 5.
We got some type of something going on Zane's
Dan, what are you
camera.
doing?
He does
Zane, these are things
PlayStation 5 camera.
these are things we
That's
should have done before the
hilarious.
game, before the stream.
What's
You gotta
happening?
take off the post-it notes that you cover up that Zuckerberg couldn't see you. But
Oh my gosh. All right.
Wow.
Oh, he is here.
the enigma.
Zane, oh my gosh.
What a
it's
cutie.
so
Was
good to see
Was there
your
a keyword we
face.
had to say? Was it Saturday? Was that the word?
That must have been it. Yeah.
Must
Oh,
have
now
been
we
it.
can't hear him though.
Uh-oh. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Well, anyways,
gosh.
before Zane gets his audio figured out, Jarrett, go ahead with your number 5.
I might muted. We're all right.
We're good. We're good.
There we
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
He did it.
My number 5 is Sonic 3.
Hey,
This was one that I was surprised to enjoy as much as I did, which I shouldn't be at this point. The first 2 were great, but the acting of Jim Carrey opposite himself was so phenomenally good. Like the fact that he comes out of retirement for this, and then Keanu doesn't have as many lines as I thought he was going to have. I mean, obviously, like, he's part of the movie, but the marketing, in my opinion, focused more on him than Jim Carrey. And really, Jim Carrey kind of stole the show with this one. But yeah, great family flick. And again, just surprised by how much I enjoy these films.
There you go. Joy Flyer Quick says harassed Zane enough that he finally showed up. So here we are. Zane, what was your number 5?
My number 5 was Twisters.
Ooh, yeah.
That was
I like
close
that
to being
choice.
on my list as well. That was real
And-
close.
The teen movie?
And not only was it that, but we saw it, me and Annika went to it in a drive-in. So it had a little,
Oh, that would have
Oh,
been
it was a
my
little,
number.
little
that's
better.
cool.
Sounds amazing.
That's
yeah.
cool.
Good atmosphere
So that
for it.
was little.
A
chef's
tornado
kiss.
didn't come through the screen. Like that
Of
would have
course.
really made it.
Well, what made it better was it was a double feature. So it was Twister and Twisters.
Oh, that
At
would
the
have been
drive-in.
great. Oh, that
Yeah.
would been great.
So it was sweet. It was a great night.
Twisters
Wow.
didn't make my list, but it was one of those that surprised me because it was one of those like that absolutely did not need to be made. Like Twister is a perfect movie and did not need a
Right.
sequel, but Twisters was solid. Like it was
Still
Just
enjoyed
wailed.
it.
yeah,
Yep.
right.
Jared is hating on you right now. He said
somehow this year.
I'm not a fan. I did not like
Jared's
Twisters.
being a hater. It's a good
I
movie.
mean, I liked
I
it
thought
way
they
better
should've
than I
stopped
like
at the first
Gladiator
one.
2, so
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
all right, go ahead, Mark.
My number 5 is a movie by M. Night Shyamalan's daughter that came out earlier this year, The Watchers.
Hey, I like that one too.
yeah, I did watch
And
that. That's a good one.
So for me, I really enjoyed it, knowing some of the background conspiracies that they kind of took from, and some of the lore there that really made it more intriguing. So I recommend it. So
Nice. There you go.
That's a solid movie.
A lot of my movies are kid movies because I went to movies with my kids, but my number 5 is Inside Out 2. It was really solid, not as good as Inside Out, but that's not a ding because Inside Out is an amazing movie. But
Yeah.
it was still really, really good. Definitely worth going to see in the theaters and catching now on Disney Plus. So that is my number 5. Excuse me. All right, Max, you're up.
Saturday Night was also my number 5. I hated the first time I sat down and watched this. I got to about 3/4 of the way through and just decided to stick it out. I don't know why I decided to stick it out, but I'd echo what Robbie says. It's just really well done. I don't think it's like the best movie ever made, but for like the sake of this list, the reason I would say go watch this movie is because I think it shares a lot of Saturday Night Live lore over time, and it just is a great movie. Cinematography wise,
Yeah.
but also it gives you prompts to go research more about Saturday Night Live, and I felt like I learned a lot about the show through this movie. So yeah, great pick, Robbie.
Nice. I'm gonna have to check that out because I consider myself a
It's on
Saturday
Netflix.
Night Live fan. So
Yeah, I would consider myself one too, which is why I stuck it out.
nice. All right, Max, go ahead with your number 3 as well.
Number 4.
4.
Oh, 4. Excuse me. Yeah, 4.
Yep, Deadpool and Wolverine. I think we will hear about this more than I think we'll hear about it more today. I think it was really good. I gave it a 5.01 out of 6. Partially because I don't think I'll ever give a Deadpool movie a 6, just because Deadpool's that character that drives me up a wall sometimes. But yeah, the cameos, a lot of fun stuff that happens in this, and I think the setting for the movie is going to play a huge role down the line. So I really like this movie and really appreciated it. So Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah, surprised that it's that low on your list, but actually, after thinking about it, yeah, I'm not that surprised. On your
No, it
list.
makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. My number 4 is Dune 2. Loved the movie. It was great. It was better than Dune 1, in my opinion. A lot more action.
Agreed.
I don't know if I'm 100% in on this franchise, but Dune 2 was a great movie, and it felt like one of those cinematic movies that like was a great theater experience. So I'm glad I went to it in theaters. It was really fun. So that is my number 4. Mark, you're up.
My number 4 was a movie called Homestead. I don't know if anyone. It had a theatrical release.
Sounds
but
familiar.
Basically, it follows a family, finding refuge after a bomb detonates in L.A. And what ensues from there.
Was it produced by Jones Productions or something like that? Or?
All I know is it's one of those movies that like Angel Studios now has. So
Okay.
Interesting.
but they had a pretty big campaign on Instagram, so I was like, all right, I gotta give this a shot. So
All right.
made the trek an hour away to go to a movie theater that had it. So
That
Oh,
That's
You're saying
impressive.
your
Universal
local
Studios the
didn't have
Pureflix
it?
company? Is that the same thing, or is it a different thing?
I'm not sure off the top of my head.
Oh, okay. Did not have Pureflix movies on my bingo card.
Yeah, there we go. All right, Zane, hit us with your number 4.
My number 4 is Inside Out 2.
Hmm.
I mean, it's still solid for as far as sequels go. Very enjoyable, and it features hockey in a bunch of the movie. So
Good point. Yeah. Did that make it better movie than it would have been if it didn't have hockey? In your opinion?
100%.
Yep,
100%. 100%.
Yep.
Okay.
Hockey guys get it.
Yep.
There you go. All right, Jarrett, was your number 4?
My number 4 was also Deadpool and Wolverine. I thought there was a lot of cool cameos and a lot of cool shout outs. Obviously paid homage to the Fox and Sony era of superhero movies. And then obviously, like, my favorite part of the entire film was finally seeing Gambit on the big screen. It was phenomenal. Great movie. And the fact that it's 4th on the list, don't let that detract you from how amazing this movie actually was. Just means my top 3 are just that much better.
I feel like having anything on our lists is still a pretty big, like,
yeah, for
win,
sure.
because like a lot of this year might be different for us with movies.
Except for Red One.
Except for Red One.
Except for Red One. But like, I mean, there were a lot of movies that I had to keep off of my list, and not necessarily movies this year, but TV shows. I think almost all the TV shows on my list are like 6 out of 6s for me. Like, there's a lot of good TV shows this year.
So you and I are flipped, because I had a tough time with movies.
I just don't get that, man. We'll find out when we go to TV shows, I guess.
I guess so.
All right. Robbie, what was your number 4?
My number 4 is Alien Romulus. I've never been a big like Alien movie franchise person, but this movie was really, really good. Plus I tricked Jess into watching it, which she never lets me watch scary movies or whatever. So I was like, no, it's just a sci-fi thriller. It's not that bad. Oh yeah, she hated it, especially at the end. If you haven't seen it,
that end.
If you haven't seen it, I don't know. It's been out for a while. You can watch it on Hulu. There's a humanoid alien creature thing, and it is freaky. Yeah,
it's terrifying.
It's terrifying, and it's hard to get out of your brain afterwards. So, I really enjoyed Alien Romulus way more than I thought I was going to. I did not think that was going to make my list, but I really enjoyed it. So, definitely recommend if you like those kinds of movies.
Nice. All right, number 3, Robbie.
Number 3, we're gonna go right into Dune Part 2. I'm with what Isaac said. Dune 2 is so much better. It's better than Dune 1, and Dune 1 is okay, but Dune 2 is much better just because the action is there and it keeps you more engaged the entire time. But kind of in the same realm with you, Isaac, I'm waiting for the payoff for all this build up for Dune, and I'm hoping that that's coming. So we're all kind of in wait. These aren't like the Lord of the Rings movie where every single one is like amazing, amazing, amazing. It's like, this is good. It's better. I'm hoping, it keeps climbing that hill. So we'll see. I'm sticking it out. I really enjoyed it. So that's my number 3.
All right. Jarrett, what was your number 3? You're muted.
Muted, Jarrett.
My number 3 is
you go.
Alien Romulus as well. I loved this movie. I actually was living inside Robbie's walls when he watched it, and I carved a little hole in the drywall and peeked through, which is probably why he was extra paranoid and scared. But yeah, don't look to your left. Anyway.
Superman?
No, I think Alien is one of those where I keep expecting the franchise to just hit like dead air. You know what I mean? At a certain point, I thought they would just stop delivering.
Oh, there's some really bad Alien movies out there.
Sure, but even the bad ones are bad, or they're good. They're the good kind of bad, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But they keep not necessarily reinventing, but exploring different areas of the Alien universe and sort of like soft rebooting it over and over again. And for some reason, they all kind of seem to stick the landing for me. And so I'm excited to see what they do with this, if they continue the story of the two that are the main characters in Alien Romulus, or if they do like they did with what's the like prequel one? Help me out here.
The Prometheus movies.
Prometheus, thank you.
Yeah, Prometheus.
If they pivot again, which I kind of like the idea of exploring different parts of the universe, but all in all, it was a fantastic ride. And I don't think you need to be a big fan of the franchise, which I am, but I feel like you can still watch this movie and enjoy it, even if you don't
Yeah.
get the references to the old ones.
Agreed.
Nice. All right, Zane, hit us with your number 3.
Well, my number 3, just to keep the conversation going, is also Alien Romulus.
There we go.
And then to top the whole universe off, we're also getting a show, I think, this end of this year.
Yeah.
So we'll have a show to buckle in this as well. So I'm excited for that.
Nice.
Sick.
All right, Mark.
My number 3 is also not going to be Alien Romulus, but it is
Ooh.
Fake us out there.
Nosferatu. Is
Ooh,
my
this-
number
Oh,
three.
wait. Yeah, never mind. Sorry, keep
That
going.
sounds
That's
like
That's a
great.
good choice.
Great.
The remake, and I am all in on these type of remakes where it's just like done serious, but like in a very dark tone. And of course, Willem Dafoe always, just knocks my socks off when I watch a movie he's in. So
He's great in anything.
Mark, can I
I
ask
know.
you something about this film?
Go on.
I obviously have not seen Nosferatu yet. I want to. If social media is any indicator, is this movie really slutty? Like, that's all I've heard is this movie is like
You're asking
super
me
slutty.
that.
Yeah,
asking the wrong
I
guy.
mean,
Yeah, it's perfectly normal in my life. So
oh, okay.
Totally normal.
So beautiful.
Well done.
Great timing.
Well done.
Great one. All right, my number 3 is Deadpool and Wolverine. Great movie.
100%.
We've already mentioned it. Loved the cameos. I thought it was a great entry. And honestly, it might be the best Deadpool movie. I still kind of go back and forth between the first Deadpool, in my
Yeah.
opinion. But
Yeah, it's hard to top that.
Hugh Jackman being back was so good. Oh, it was so fun to watch him. But yeah, that was my number 3. Max, what was yours?
Number 3 for me is Rebel Ridge. I loved this movie. This is the most surprising movie of the year. This is one of my favorite Netflix movies, maybe ever. I could not believe how much I loved this. Sarah, my wife, had asked to watch this movie, and I was like, whatever, I'll sit down. And I was just from the get-go all in. I remember going, this guy needs to be our next Green Lantern, and then weeks later he was selected by James Gunn. I think part of the reason I love this movie so much is it was my introduction to Aaron Pierre, who I think is tremendous. I think this guy's got a bright future ahead of him. And this movie is great. I loved it. And I get that it's got flaws, but I don't care. I loved it. And I think Netflix hit a home run with this one.
I was so nervous when you said Rebel Ridge, and I, for some reason, thought like Rebel Moon. And I was like, is Max
that was my
putting a
first
Zack
thought, too.
Snyder film on his top 2? And I was like, are you
Zack
kidding me? What's
Snyder.
happening
He's a
right now?
Snyder bro now.
Part 2, it was
Max
awesome.
is
What in the
Snyder
world?
Bros. Yeah, exactly. Wow.
I had to double check. I Googled real quick to
No,
make sure like it was a different thing.
I honestly, I don't know if it's even like of the 6 movies I have, I don't even know if it's the best film ever made of the 6, but I just think this movie's great. I really think this is going to be a for Aaron Pierre. I think this is going to be a movie he looks back and thanks people.
Jumpstarted his
Thinks
career.
I think this jump started. It was awesome. He's
See.
awesome in this movie.
Fun to see him as Jon Stewart coming up in the DCU.
For sure.
All right, Max, what was your number 2?
My number 2 is If. I loved this movie too. This one was emotional for me. I think John Krasinski hit a grand slam here. I think Ryan Reynolds was great in this. It was different for him. I think Ryan Reynolds, he was sarcastic in it, but I just think he did very well in this. I appreciated all the different voices they had in it. I appreciated the message in this one. And my top 2 films are emotional. And for me, If struck a chord that I was not expecting. So another surprise on my list, If.
There you go. My number 2 is Sonic 3. Huge Sonic fan, and Jim Carrey just knocked this out of the park. I love that they literally just let him go. They're like, yeah, do whatever you want. Like, ham it up as much as possible. This was like up there. Like, Robotnik is going to become his like defining role for the people of, the Gen Z, Gen Alpha generation. And I love that for him. It's so fun. And I love how he's become more comical each movie that we've gotten. Like, I went back and watched Sonic recently, and he's got like the slick back hair, the hipster haircut, the curled mustache and everything. Each movie he just gets more like cartoony, and I love that. And then this we get the big bellied and the grandpa is just it was so stinking good. Sonic 3 was amazing, and Keanu did. Honestly, I was a little worried about Keanu. I was like, I don't know how he's gonna do with like voice acting, because a lot of actors just don't know how to put the emotion into it and kind of end up mailing it in for voice acting roles. But I thought he did well. He did really well. So Sonic 2, Sonic 3 is my number 2.
He does a lot of like video game voice acting too now, because he's done Cyberpunk, which he was pretty good in that.
Yeah.
And then the new FromSoft, the Armored Core series. He's been doing the like main characters in those.
Yeah.
And he sounds great, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought he was great. So that worked for me, and I love that we're getting more for the Sonic universe. So there we go. Mark, what was your number 2?
My number 2 was Civil War.
That was a good one.
Seen previews for that. I'm always up into like the dystopian future type of movies, so that was right in my alley. Kind of like the the plot that played out, and it's one of those things in the future that we'll have to deal with. Who knows?
Have you watched Arcadian yet, Mark?
Is that the one on Netflix?
No, it's I think it's on Hulu right now, but it's the Nick Cage one where he is like in a dystopian
no,
future.
I have not seen that one, but I've
Stop
like
pushing your Nick Cage religion on us.
I'll be right down that. Yeah.
Okay,
don't want it.
But I have to say, it's not even on any of my lists or anything, but the monsters in that movie are so whack. It's it's wild.
Is it just giant Nick Cage monsters running around?
That would make it wild, but no.
Like Attack on Titan monsters with Nick Cage's face? That would be
terrifying.
Oh my gosh, that'd be terrifying. That would be
terrifying.
That's my nightmare right there.
Thanks.
That's my dream. It's your
This is
nightmare,
my
but it's
nightmare.
my dream. So all right. That was Mark's number 2. Zane, what was your number 2?
My number 2 is Deadpool and Wolverine. Just super fun, very enjoyable. It did bother me that all the, Bye 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 became a Fortnite song. Kind of aged us all, but
yeah, we're old.
Yeah. But yeah, that's my number 2.
There you go. All right, Jarrett, what was your number 2?
My number 2 was Dune 2, or Dune Part 2. This really like brought it home for me. I loved the first movie. I think probably more than a lot of people did. And the second one, it was so awesome to see everybody get excited about Paul as like this hero, this messiah, their savior, or whatever. And then slowly watching him warp towards more of like a morally gray person, and like the beginnings of what he might look like as a villain, basically, more or less, through this holy war that he's starting. I loved this movie. I think it was way more action packed than the first one, as we've already talked about. And then even the casting, right? Like Austin Butler killed it in his role. Florence Pugh, we didn't see much of, but even the beginnings of what she's going to add to the series, I'm so excited to see where they go with this. I haven't yet watched the series. Is it on? Does Amazon Prime have the TV show? I have to start digging into that, because
that's all HBO Max.
No,
it's all
HBO
HBO
Max. That's what it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Garrett, have you read the Dune books, or at least
I
a
haven't.
few of them?
I want to. I've heard they're pretty dense and they didn't age well.
They are. There's like a ton of them. Basically, Dune, if I'm remembering right, is the inspiration to Star Wars. I believe.
Yeah.
So part of it.
It was kind of the big, from what I've heard, it's the big one that like started that sci-fi and fantasy ride of doing like the the hero's journey, but Dune subverts that in quite a way. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Speaking of soap opera or space operas, the new one with the girl from Stranger Things looks phenomenal. Just a side note.
Oh, yeah.
If you went to
Captain
America, you saw the previews for it.
Right.
Hold on,
The
I'll
new
look it
one
up.
with that girl from that one thing, that one looks promising.
know
You
what
guys
you're
will go
talking
check.
about.
It's Sadie.
I know that
I can't think
one.
of her name. She's the redhead.
Oh, Sadie
Oh,
Sink.
okay. I thought you were thinking 11. I thought
That's
it was
what
11.
I was thinking too. I thought you were thinking.
Yeah, see,
11.
you need to
Rock
get more
opera,
details
it
here.
looks phenomenal.
So you mean 11? No.
Oh, it's called
the other
Odessa.
one. Odessa.
Yeah, rock opera.
Okay. Interesting.
All right, Robbie,
All right.
what's your number 2?
I'll give my number 2, then number 1. Number 2 is Deadpool and Wolverine. It's a movie we've all probably talked at length about. I'm sure everyone that's watching this has probably seen it. If you haven't seen it, you should probably go see it. It's really good, really fun, good time. Deadpool, Wolverine. My number 1 is, and I suspect this might be a few people's number 1, The Wild Robot. Movie was absolutely phenomenal, extremely emotional. But just such a fun, cute little movie. Even if you don't have kids, you should watch this movie. It's a really, really good. It's a really, really good movie. It should win more awards than it's already won. But yeah, that's my number 1, The Wild Robot.
All right, Jarrett, what's your number 1?
My number 1 is Civil War. I was so high on this movie after watching it, and I've still continue to push it. Like, hey, if you miss it because the trailers or whatever didn't look like your speed, it's not a war movie as much as it is a story about like the consequences of war. I thought they had a lot to say about like what free press has to go through in these situations. There was so much to this movie. I honestly was delightfully surprised how deep this movie goes.
Dude.
And the character acting was so great.
The
What was
trailers
your
did not do that movie justice at all. The
Not at
movie is
all.
much better than the trailers made it out to be.
They painted it. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, I think another thing that makes a movie like that so great is like the anxiety it makes you feel watching it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like it
Yeah,
like
there's
actually
a-
pulls your emotions into the like watching it, and you're like, okay, yeah, I'm invested. So
Dude, it's gut wrenching. And then seeing Kirsten Dunst in this role is so cool because like I don't think I've seen her in anything since the Spider-Man movies. But she killed it, man. She really made you feel her like perspective. Yeah, phenomenal movie. The highest of 6s out of 6.
Yeah, it was a good one. All right, Zane, what was your number 1 movie of 2024?
All right, my number 1, and literally no surprise to anyone, it's Godzilla Kong New Empire. It's a giant lizard and a giant monkey fighting another giant lizard and a giant monkey, and that's peak cinema, guys. Pack it in. It doesn't get better than that.
I love you, Zane. Please never change.
Ignore
Ignore
gonna
the
be
haters,
The
ignore
only
Max.
entry of Godzilla v Kong on this whole everybody's
Yeah.
list is Zane's
we have-
number 1.
You have to put points for
There's 3
Godzilla
of
and
us
Kong
That's
and
true.
Red
We
1
still
because
have
of
3 of us
Zane.
left.
There's
Max's
still
might
a
be
lot of
Godzilla
time.
v Kong.
There's
You're
a
right.
lot
you're
of
right.
time left.
All right, Mark, what was your number 1?
my
Golly.
number 1, and I actually feel like complete opposite like of normal years with movies like this. But my number 1's Deadpool and Wolverine.
Really?
just-
Wow.
I was all in. I had the hype before, I had the hype during, I had the hype after, and then emulate what Jared said with his it was his number 4 is it had Gambit in it. I've been waiting for Gambit in a movie for 10 years.
Yeah,
Blade was
Alex,
back.
That's all that matters. I
Yeah.
saw Gambit. I was like, movie of the year. Don't matter what's in front of me or behind me. So
the one and sadly only Blade was back.
Never gonna be another Blade.
and he was right.
Only one.
unfortunately.
He called it.
For now.
So far.
Yeah, so far. Yeah. My number 1 is same as Robbie's. It's The Wild Robot. I knew this movie was going to be good because my daughter read the books last year in school and she has not stopped talking about them since. And when we saw the trailer for the first time in theaters, she literally cried. And I was like, all right, I think this is going to be a solid movie. We went and I cried during the movie multiple times. So, and that's not an indicator of, how good a movie is because I cry during a lot of movies. But The Wild Robot was way more emotional than I was expecting. Beautiful animation. It was just incredible movie. And like Robbie said, highly recommend seeing it even if you don't have kids. But if you do have kids, it's a must watch. Like you need
Did you
to
cry during Dogman?
Is it appropriate
Almost,
for a 2 to 3 year old?
Dogman sucked.
Dogman.
Whoa,
Dogman wasn't that bad.
whoa.
It was a fun kids movie,
Hater.
Dogman sucked.
Yeah. Wild Robot,
Didn't like it.
6 out of 6. Incredible movie. Max, what was your number 1?
Number 1 for me is Inside Out 2. I think this movie, I firmly disagree on Inside Out's better. I think this might be the best Pixar movie ever made, in my opinion.
You're ridiculous.
I love it. I think it's great. I think
Best ever.
That's a hot
I
take.
do. I think it is. It's one of my favorites. I think how they talk about anxiety is tremendous. I think they talk about a lot of very tremendous. There's a lot of emotions addressed in this movie that people of all ages I would talk with throughout the year that would say, I finally feel like I'm able to put something to this emotion. And I think they really just did a beautiful job with that movie. It's going to be a movie we reference for a long time with our kids, raising them. It's the season of life I'm in. Again, it's emotional, but Inside Out 2 for me.
Wow.
I'm just shocked that the Wild Robot wasn't on more lists.
Me too, honestly.
I haven't
So
seen it
stinky
yet.
good.
I didn't see
Oh,
it.
you haven't seen it. Max, did you see it?
I have not had a chance to see it.
Oh,
We're the
okay.
only ones
sure
that
it
have
would
watched it, Robbie.
Oh my gosh,
goodness.
you guys have
You
this
guys
so
are gonna change your
good.
minds when you watch it.
It's so
Besides
good.
Inside Out 2, all the other movies that you guys put on your list, I haven't seen yet. Like that's how like
Wow.
That's
What a
how-
weird year for Mark.
Netflix
Such a
DVD
niche year
has
for
screwed me
Mark.
over with movies.
Mark, it's
Doesn't
all
have
it's
DVDs
on the
anymore.
TVs now, Mark. You don't have to
I
wait for the
can't. I
mail.
can't. I need the
You
code
need
to
this-
mail plan. I
Mark,
have to watch
Mark
this
has
and
a
get it
tube
back
TV
to
with a
get me new
DVD
movie.
player. He does not have a way to stream things.
You have
okay?
to dial in
For-
the
I
colors
did
still on your
that- I
TV.
did that for 13
For new
years.
people.
I can't.
Yeah,
For new
explain
people
this,
that
please,
don't
Robbie.
know, Mark was probably one of the last 5 people
And
still
first,
getting
by the way.
physical media from Netflix, where they were still sending him
Pirates and
disc for his movies. So once that ended, apparently him watching more movies than all of us every year also ended
Out the door.
out the window. It's wild.
Wow,
Wild.
for
Door
Mark
wheel,
this year.
it went out.
Tough 2024 for Mark.
Yeah, I'm
And
sorry,
it's get
Mark.
worse with a new child coming.
True.
You mean
Or
better?
because sometimes
Better.
you just sit there and you're taking care
It's
of the
good.
kid and you throw something on.
Well,
Although
that's what I did with Maggie first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you-
It off to for 7 months. Yeah, that was wild.
But I found that I
Yeah.
watched a lot of new stuff, but I didn't remember a lot of that new stuff, like looking
Right.
back on it, because I was like so in a daze of like being tired 24/7 in
Yep.
those times. But
Makes sense.
Can't wait.
all right, guys, that's it. Our official 2024 StanLee Award for movie goes to Deadpool and Wolverine by a long shot, actually,
Wow.
because I think it's on all of our lists. That was
Wow.
the thing. All
Yeah.
of our number ones weren't really heavy hitters on
makes
everybody's
sense.
list. So next
Hold on
up
to your butts.
would be, let's see, Deadpool and Wolverine with 26 points. Next up is Dune 2 and The Wild Robot with 12.
Oh,
nice.
wow.
Wow.
Little time.
It,
Little
it
time.
like completely obliterated.
What's
Oh no,
is Civil
no!
War
I
after that?
lied. I didn't add Max's to Inside Out 2. So Inside Out 2 would be the winner with 17. So Inside
there
Out
you
2
go.
would be number 2. But yeah, Deadpool and Wolverine, the official StanLee Award for Best Movie of 2024 for the Infinity Bros podcast. So there you go. All right. Next up,
Makes
we're going to
sense.
be doing TV shows. But if you are watching our Twitch stream and you have not typed in !ticket, make sure you do that, because that enters you into win an Infinity Bros merch item from our store. So make sure you type that in. All right. TV shows.
Not you, Mark. That's Mark.
Mark
not
doesn't
that.
count.
Exclamation point ticket.
All right. Next up, we've got our TV shows. So we're gonna go. Should we do opposite directions here? So we'll start with Zane,
Sure.
go around the other way, and end with Mark, and we'll also snake it there. So
Okay.
number 6, starting with our TV shows. Zane, what was your number 6?
Number 6 for me was Skeleton Crew.
Hey.
I very much enjoyed the show. It's kind of geared more of the younger audience, but like if you want just a fun show that's literally Goonies in the Star Wars universe, go check out Skeleton Crew.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Sure would have finished it.
Is that why you don't have a lot of TV shows? Because you start watching them and you just don't finish them? Is that why?
He needs time for
No,
One
there's,
Piece.
there's only
That's
a
what it
few.
is.
That One Piece is in the way of a lot of things. But no. That's just one I just haven't finished. Most of the things I finish, but Jared's 100% right. One Piece is our go-to.
Hold on to your butts.
Like if we're gonna watch TV, I'm gonna watch One Piece.
That's fair. All right, Jarrett, what was your number 6?
My number 6 is a Netflix anime called Delicious in Dungeon or Dungeon Meshi. It's phenomenal. I haven't watched Dan Dan yet. I no longer have Netflix, so I binge watched Dungeon Meshi, and then I didn't have time to get Dan Dan. But it's the story of this like group of adventurers who go through a dungeon, and this is so like if you could design a TV series perfectly for me, this is it. They go through this dungeon and they eat all the monsters. That's the whole gimmick. Is like they wonder how can I cook these monsters? What would they taste like? What monster pairs well with what dish? And if you know me at all, I love D&D and I love cooking. Like I am obsessed with cooking. And so yeah, phenomenal series. I did not get to watch it past I don't know, episode like 14 or whatever. I know they're continuing it, but it's the only reason why I'm trying to get Netflix again is because I love this series.
All right.
That's right.
Robbie, what was your number 6?
I'm giving a 7 because I have to, because it doesn't technically count. So bear with me. One Piece, because I watched a lot of it and it's technically still coming out, but I'm not caught up yet. So I can't technically put it on my list.
Girl there, but
I want to say New Girl. I wish you guys would let me. But One Piece technically is still coming out. I haven't watched the newest episode, so it doesn't really count. My number 6 will be Creature Commandos from DC on HBO Max. Super fun show. Did not realize it was going to be as good and as heartfelt as it is. Definitely recommend it. It is a little more mature, so not for children, but just a little bit. Just a little bit. But yeah, really good show. I did not expect it to be as good as it was. Creature Commandos on HBO Max. Number 6.
Max, what was your number 6?
I did not have a number 6 this year for TV shows. I only have 5.
Oh,
I know.
You want to throw up Right Redemptions on
Say
that?
New Girl.
Insane. This is insane, you guys. There's so many good shows this year. I just don't understand it.
I actually on my list I'll give context, but I don't need the one I'm putting on 5. I have gripes with. So yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So we're just skipping him for 6.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair. He can't be skewing the rankings.
Yeah, I'm not gonna skew the. Yeah, I have integrity here. I'm gonna show up with a camera on. I'm gonna show up with and make sure that the rankings are not skewed, unlike other people here.
That's fair.
Robbie stole Max's 6 to use it as 7 for One Piece.
Hey, you know what, Robbie?
Actually,
It's yours. You can have it.
Oh, sweet. Can we put One Piece on the list?
My number 6 is One Piece.
up for 6.
My number 6 is One Piece. There we go. Put it on there.
There it is.
Okay.
Official rankings.
My number 6. This is how many good TV shows there is this year, guys. My number 6
we got it.
is
You
The
watched TV
Bear
this year.
season 3. Number 6. The Bear was fantastic, but I will say season 3 slightly less. Like if I was ranking the seasons of The Bear, season 3 is probably on the bottom. Still like a 6 out of 6 show though. Like it's fantastic. Love The Bear. It's number 6 though. That's how many good shows there are. All right, Mark, hit us with your number 6.
My number 6 was Griselda, if anyone happened to
Don't
see
know
that
what that
or
is.
hear about it. So it
The
came
heck
out like
is
right at the
Griselda?
beginning of the year. Sofia Vergara played this woman who was like a drug lord kind of in the 80s. And it was fantastic. It's only like 6 episodes. I think it was on Netflix. Highly recommend it. So
All right,
there you go, guys.
there you go. What's your number 5?
My number 5, which might be on some people's lists, is From Season 3.
Hey, there it is.
From is just a special delight that was, I feel like, the person who recommended it to me, I was like, this is the show you watched? And it was Max. Max is the one who introduced this show to me. And now we're in season 3. And now I think I don't know if Robbie's watched it, but we're all in a...
Not
basically,
caught
we
up.
could just go back to the Infinity Bros, back to that group, because we all seen it. Because we all, what's our conspiracy theory and what's going on in that show? It's one of those. It's like Lost for 20.
Honestly, now that we're all like caught up on it, we might
2020.
have to review it like on the podcast and do like monthly or weekly episodes or something like that because that show is phenomenal. That's a great show. All right, my number 5 is The Penguin. Way better than I was expecting it to be. I enjoyed Colin Farrell as the Penguin in the Batman. Like he was really good, but I was like, why do we need a spin-off show? Like I just didn't really understand why it was necessary. But it blew me away. Him and what was her name? Milioti. Is it Christina Milioti or
Dina.
whatever?
Yeah.
she just killed. Those guys just absolutely destroyed that show. It was so stinking
Yeah.
good.
Somehow didn't win supporting actress of the year or actor of the year, which is
Ridiculous.
ridiculous.
Absolutely
They
ridiculous.
should have won every award in TV category.
They should have.
Yeah, probably.
It was phenomenal. So,
But it's only number 5 for
only
Isaac.
number 5. Yep.
I'm
That's how many good shows
amazed.
there are.
You're gonna put Skeleton Crew above, and I'm gonna
No,
punch you.
I will say that right now. I don't have Skeleton Crew on my list.
Okay, good.
I'm gonna
So-
see that Little Mermaid show that came out. Get to watch
Little
Little Mermaid
Mermaid.
show. He's like my number one.
Spidey and
There was
Friends,
one new
seasons
Bluey show.
5.
That's
Yeah.
number 1.
All right,
Thought about
Max,
it.
what was your number 5?
For Century.
My number 5 is Evil. They finally finished this show. I think it's ending a little early. And I felt like this season was really clunky. So it's the only reason I'm putting it on here is just because I've been following this for a long time, and Mark and I have kind of watched this together through the years. I was a little disappointed in this season. I was hoping for way more answers than we got. I think the cast and crew are really trying to keep this thing going for 1 or 2 more seasons. But yeah, really fascinating show. One of the most complex characters is David in that show. And he's the reason I watch it. It's the ultimate pastoral protagonist. I think it's a great show, and I really appreciate it. So, Evil.
Nice. All right, Robbie, what was your number 5?
My number 5 was Dan, which is an anime on Netflix. It's a really good anime. There's actually a lot of good anime that came out in 2024. I'm sure there's more that I've missed. I was interested in watching the show that Jarrett actually talked about, but haven't got around to it. But Dan kind of jumped onto the scene, had no idea about it, but everyone online was talking about it, and it's a trip, but it's a really fun trip if you enjoy anime. So Dan is my number 5.
Jarrett, what was your number 5?
My number 5 is Fallout. I thought this was a phenomenal addition to the Fallout series. I thought it was cool that it paid respect to the games, but was also telling its own story. I was thoroughly surprised, and I think the acting and everything was so great in this. I'm excited to see where they go with the new season that's coming up. And yeah, all around just amazing TV series.
Zane, cap us off the number 5.
All right, my number 5 is a show on Peacock called Teacup. And I know you'd hear Teacup and you're like, what is this about? I was looking for a void that From had, find another horror TV show. And I found Teacup. And it's only been 1 season. The cast is good. The main cast is good. The supporting cast could definitely be better. But I've enjoyed it. And if you like horror, so the show's basically about aliens are invading Earth, and a mysterious dude shows up, draws a line of paint around these people's farm, and anything that crosses over that barrier gets horribly mutilated. And they're basically trapped on the farm and trying to figure out what's going on. And so it's kind of trippy. And yeah, so it's number 5 for me.
Why is it called
it's in the
Teacup?
vein of Teacup, or in the vein of From, yeah.
But why is it called Teacup?
Because the mom is giving like a object lesson to her son about a storm is like a hornet in a teacup.
Oh.
And so the teacup is the barrier that's over their farm.
Yeah,
basically.
okay. All right.
Okay.
Fair
All right,
enough.
Zane, hit us with your number 4.
My number 4 is season 3 of The Bear. Like I said, I think it can agree that it's not quite as good as like 1 and 2, but still an absolutely fantastic show. Especially seeing like Richie's growth and everything that's still going through season 3. Very much enjoyed it.
All right, Jarrett, what was your number?
Mine is also season 3 of The Bear. If you know me, you know I love this series. I wanted to put it higher, but there was just more that came out this year. And like everybody said, this is probably the weakest season so far. But it's still nice to see the crew together and working through their problems in the most like unhealthy fashions possible. My one critique is not enough cooking and not enough swearing. You know, I need more of both from this
They had
series.
a lot of those in the first 2
Need
seasons,
more.
yeah.
Need more. Yes,
They had a
chef.
lot. What I will say about this season of The Bear is they had a lot of like single episodes that were phenomenal, but it
Yeah.
just didn't feel cohesive really as a season.
I think they're setting something up, is my feeling.
Yeah, they did a lot of like deep character dives and in those single episodes, which was cool. Like it was great. Don't get me wrong, but yeah,
none of them. Yeah, nothing from this season hits quite as hard as Richie's like solo episode in season 2.
Yeah,
I feel like that's peak this series. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. All right, Robbie, what was your number 4?
It is not season 3 of The Bear. I'm not all the way caught up. I'm halfway through season 2, so we're getting there. But mine is Dragon Ball Daima. I always struggle with how to exactly say it. But Dragon Ball Daima is my number 4. It's just good to have Dragon Ball Z back. I've never been a fan of like the whole little, like character thing that they're doing now with everyone. But at least it's better. At least
what they call it.
I don't like what they did in GT.
It's like what they did in GT. It's better than what they did in GT, so that's at least acceptable. It's a fun little watch. It scratches that Dragon Ball itch that I've had my entire life. So that is my number 4.
Are you finally caught up all through this weekend?
I have not caught up through this weekend, but I did get it spoiled for me.
You got it spoiled. Dang it!
Like that's the one thing. No one cares. No one cares for like spoilers for that show.
Day and age, man. Like the second it airs, it's people.
Yeah, it's just like it's everywhere. And I'm like, are you guys like, what happened? We used to be a cultured society.
We used to be a proper
society. People used to appreciate spoilers and spoilers review.
You guys remember Infinity War and Endgame? Like there was a campaign online, like don't spoil Endgame, don't spoil.
Right. Like, hey, if you do it, we'll come after your family.
Yeah, we've had mutuals that have spoiled things, and we don't forget. People don't forget. So yeah, that kind of sucks that there's been a few that's happened twice now. That like a big thing happened in Dragon Ball Daima, and it's already been spoiled before I see it. So whatever, I guess.
Sucks. It's still sweet. It's still sweet.
I'm still excited. I was still excited for Vegeta going Super Saiyan 3. So like I'm, it's fine. It'll be fine.
All right, Max, what was your number 4?
It's been said already. Penguin's my number 4. Great show. Don't need to get into it anymore. It's awesome. Good show.
Agreed. My number 4 is X-Men 97. Like, I'm not even a big animated, like, X-Men 97. Like, I didn't watch that show growing up. And I just basically watched a YouTube recap to lead up to this one. But holy crap, that season hit hard. It was so stinking good. Way better than I was expecting it to be, because I don't know how you guys feel about like all the, remakes and sequels and stuff that have been coming out of. Generally, I just don't really care for them. But man, this was a great follow-up, and it just hit it out of the park. So X-Men 97 is my number 4. Mark, what was yours?
My number 4, which I think was on Garrett's list already, was Fallout, the series. Was really pumped for this coming out when I first heard about it. Big fan of all the Fallout games. I feel like I'm old enough to have played even the one on PS1, so I was all in. Our guy Walter Goggins is in that, so especially as to this group that we're anyways. So I'm excited for more Fallout stuff to come, and hopefully they do us right and don't give us some bad writing or acting, but we'll see. My number 3 is X-Men 97. I watched it growing up. I also, to also date myself, the first purchase I made on Xbox 360 was the series that was on there, so I would watch it religiously on my Xbox 360 as a teenager, so. And I love that they just continue right on the story, like right where they left off. Didn't have to do something new in the same vein of that show, but loved it. So can't wait for more when that comes out. So
yeah, absolutely. Hey, and I was kind of worried, I guess, about the animation too, because it looked like, I don't know, like they were definitely trying to emulate the old animated style, and I was just like,
but make it look modern.
Right, but make it look modern. I just didn't know how it was going to go, but it looks great. I thought they knocked it out of the park with the animation too. It looks awesome. So, My number 3 is The Bad Batch Season 3. Zane might share my sentiments on this one, but man, I know this is a very niche Star Wars show, but this show shows how good Star Wars can be when it's not focused on, like, you know, lightsabers and Jedi and Sith and all that stuff. Like, it was just an amazing show. And I love the, you know, Clone Wars animation style. So the fact that, you know, that show is a spin-off from the Clone Wars. Loved everything about it. And this season was by far the best season of the show overall. So absolutely great ending to the show. Loved it. It was amazing. Max, what was your number 3?
Number 3 for me was Squid Game. It snuck in just at the last week in 2024. I really liked season 2 of Squid Game. I know there was a lot of thoughts online about it and the way it ended in season 3. I'm not going to spoil the connection, but they did something in this season that another show also did. And they beat them to it. And I found that really interesting and fascinating. So Squid Game season 2, great. I'm very excited for the third and I believe final season to come out this summer.
Yeah. All right, Robbie, number 3. You're muted.
You're on mute.
You're muted.
You're muted.
Sorry, I was typing. My number 3 is Arcane Season 2. I don't know if you guys have heard of Arcane or been, you know, anyone that's told you to watch Arcane.
Higa might have told us to watch it at one point.
Higa might have told you to watch Arcane. Really, really good show. If you haven't watched both seasons, dude, it's incredible. The animation is crazy. They spent crazy amounts of money to make this look as good as it did. But yeah, Arcane Season 2. Go watch Arcane if you haven't. It's on Netflix. It's a very, very good story. A lot of good action. It's just all around good time.
All right, Jarrett.
My number 3 is X-Men 97 as well. Like Mark, this was a series that I watched religiously growing up. Fans of the Infinity Wars know I have read almost all of the X-Men leading up to like Hellfire Gala. And Chris Claremont's run was my all-time favorite, early Chris Claremont when he took over after Jim Byrne. And so seeing a lot of that storyline play out was so great. We got to see Life, Death, and God Loves Man Kills, stuff like that. And it's so awesome to see like today's generation, the kids growing up now, enjoy the same things that I did growing up. And obviously Magneto's storyline in this was so good. Yeah, I'm excited to see where they go from here. Must watch, in my opinion, if you're a comic book fan.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Zane, hit us with your number 3.
All right, my number 3 is Fallout. And super fun show. I scratched that itch, and I'm excited to see what season 2 is going to have for us, because Walter Goggins has promised us it's going to have even more action than season 1. So
More Goggins.
more Goggins. Sign me up.
Waiter, I don't have enough Goggins. Can I have more Goggins, please?
May I have some more,
I got a
please?
fever, and the only prescription is more Goggins.
Love it. All right, Zane, what was your number 2 TV show?
My number 2 TV show is Shogun. If you guys didn't watch Shogun,
Yeah, buddy, let's go.
highly recommend it. Just everything from that like how they did that show is if you took Game of Thrones but took the fantasy out of it, like this, it was so good. And it has it's based on characters and the events that happened is based on historical stuff that actually happened. But yeah, I can't recommend Shogun enough. It's a very good show, especially if you like anything historical or get into anything feudal Japan. You'll love the show.
Yeah, agreed. Jarrett, what was your number 2?
My number 2 is the latest season of From. Like most people, I got turned on to this from Max, which is so crazy because if you would have pegged like the series that Max is known for, I would not have guessed From in a million years. But the mystery behind it is so captivating. And we have a group chat that we're in where we just like ping ideas off of each other. and I went so freaking deep this season. Jade, if you watch the series at all, is like my favorite character, and I think the casting with this, with Harold Perrineau, and honestly, like I have no complaints, and so it was hard not to put this as number one because it has continued to deliver in spades.
Agreed. Robbie, what was your number two?
Number two is Fallout. It's been mentioned a few times, but it scratched that Fallout itch that a lot of us had from being younger and playing all the Fallout games. But it's just such a good representation of what Fallout is. And I think why I enjoy it so much more is because I was so worried it was going to be bad, because I feel like it could have been really, really bad for some reason. But they knocked it out of the park. They captured the essence of Fallout in that franchise and what it's like to be people in a vault and people out of a vault. So yeah, Fallout is my number two. Absolutely loved that show.
Got an eye roll for Max there. All right, Max, what was your number two then?
No,
I didn't even have
I'm
six.
not eye rolling.
He's eye rolling something else. You'll see.
I'm eye rolling something else.
Just remember,
Forgive the
whatever you're
timing of
eye
our-
rolling at is not said in this right now. So.
I never said it was. I'm just addressing that. There it is. Thank you.
Thank you.
Number two.
One
So
little
am I
line
doing?
from the end, so.
I'm doing two, then one, Isaac.
No. You're just doing two. We still
Great.
got a couple people to go.
X-Men 97. We talked about this earlier. I think X-Men 97 is one of the best things Marvel's put out in years. I just love this project. I couldn't believe that they jumped right back into it. And you guys are kind of all talking about this, but they even had cameos from certain shows back then. That it was a pure nostalgia thing. And I get that. That's why I like it so much. Like, production-wise, I don't think it's the best, but like for me and for us and for just our generation, felt seen, felt heard. Jarrett, you referenced all the things I was going to reference earlier. A great callback to tremendous comics. So awesome show.
Yeah. Number two for me was also Shogun. Watched this alongside Zane, and we actually reviewed it on the Infinity Bros podcast. Don't remember which episode that is. We'll maybe link it in the show notes. But holy crap, this show blew me out of the water because I was not expecting it to be nearly as good as it was. And just the historical aspect of it, with the main character being like a Portuguese dude who went over there and basically was trying to exploit like the Japanese trade and stuff at the time. Very cool, like historical aspect to it. And the show itself was absolutely incredible. So would highly recommend watching that one.
Shogun's one that I started that I would like to get right back into. Like, it's really, really good, but it's not caught up like you guys are.
Stinking
Yeah,
good, so
Same for me, Robbie. Like, there's been a couple shows that have been said here that I'm like, I've The Bear. I've wanted to watch The Bear.
Yeah.
And Shogun, and I just have not.
I watched
gotten
season
to it.
one of The Bear and have like not gone back, even though I really enjoyed it. I really need to get back into it.
I'm sure that the seasons were great. I feel bad that I haven't seen them to put them on the list, or at least weigh them.
Well, you could still put them on the list if we're like just pulling Robbie's out of our back pockets.
I mean, I've already given my.
Hey,
pick
I
for
had
Robbie,
6
right? I mean,
here.
No,
He didn't
you
even
had
show up with 6.
No, that's true. No,
I think I
that's
said it before the show. I was like, yeah, I'm only gonna have 5.
I
today.
mean,
And
I
was
think
like, "You take mine, Robbie."
the first year that we did the StanLees and Robbie put The Office on his list was just,
My understanding was anything that we had watched that year, and I finally watched The Office. That was a big moment for me.
good.
Then you
It's
know
true,
what?
and then we
Isaac-
changed to the current year. We did.
Isaac, could you please put New Girl at number 6 for me, then, please? Thank you.
Okay, New Girls, Max is number 6.
That's so good.
No, he already said One Piece. We have it on record.
One
It's
Piece.
too late.
Max
I'd like to
He said
retract
One Piece
it.
level.
It's now New Girl. Scratch me.
Unretractable.
All right, Mark, what was your
This
number
isn't a
2?
ruler.
My number 2 is another one that came out earlier in the year, and I feel like it was just slept on because it was too funny for me. The show Ted. Anyone watched that at all? It was
I saw that was a show and I was shocked.
hilarious. It made me laugh out loud, as the kids would say.
Lol.
Yeah. There were
Nice.
some jokes in there that I'm like, Max would blush. It was so funny. Yeah, that's how hilarious it was.
Hello.
Oh gosh, it doesn't take that much. So I mean, like,
And I recommend go
that's
watching it. You're gonna laugh your socks off and think of Max at the same time. So,
all right, number
All right.
one show of 2024. What was it?
no shock to the group here because of my high praise. It is The Penguin.
High
The
praise.
Penguin's number one,
High praise.
and
High
just
praise.
I'll be on record saying the best TV show I think I've seen ever.
Wow.
That's how I feel about it.
That's a hot take.
Colin Farrell had I think the most perfect performance under prosthetics and just the way his mannerisms and the way he walked. Just like that dude should just be. They should retire him.
All the rewards. All the awards.
Give him all the rewards. Give him all the money USAID was dishing out just right to Colin Farrell. He deserves it all. Let's go.
Hang the fat suit in the rafters.
Yep. The rafters in every sports stadium in the US.
Nobody's allowed to ever play them.
That was good, Zay. That was good.
That was a good. I agree though. Man, Colin Farrell did so well in that show. It's incredible. My number one show of 2024 is from season 3, and I think I maybe am a little biased because I binged the whole show this year, so I just rolled right into season 3, and I think I caught up like the last like maybe 4 or 5 episodes of season 3. I was like watching them alongside these guys, but the praise that they gave this show for years up until I finally got to watch it, it did not disappoint at all. Like, I've talked to Max about this a bit, but I loved Lost back in the day. Amazing show. And this show reminds me so much of Lost. Like, the feelings that I had while watching it. It was just like, you got done watching it and I was like, I can't stop watching. I have to watch the next one to find out what the heck is going to happen. Like, I have to. Until, obviously, I couldn't do that anymore when I was up to date. But, man, it just, the Lost vibes were uncanny in this one. And now, because of that, I'm, like, going back and rewatching Lost again with my wife this year. So, yeah. Amazing show. It was great. Max, what was your number one?
No, yeah, it's From. Come on. I mean, you've heard everybody else talk about it. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, this should shock nobody. From is some episodes I watch From, and I'm like, holy crap, because it's the same director, Jack Bender, and similar writers, not all the same writers. But there's sometimes where I'm like, oh, they're rewriting the problems they had in Lost. And then there's other times like, oh no, they're making the same mistake they made in Lost. And I think for me, I that's part of the reason I'm so passionate about the show is I really want them to stick this landing. I love what Lost did top to bottom, but in this one, I think it's gonna be known for how it ends. And man, the season 3 finale was wild. So yeah, From is great. I love it. I need to give a shout out to cast members of this because I don't think these people. Scott McCord as Victor deserves nominations. He's not going to get them. He deserves them. Elizabeth Saunders should play Granny Goodness in the DC Cinematic Universe. She should be casted immediately. Jade, you talked about David Alpay. Jarrett, he's awesome. And then Harold Perrineau is giving his best performance. I know the guy is famous for other shows. I know that everyone's going to say Oz. I know everyone's going to say Lost. This is his best one by far.
Agreed. Yeah. Robbie, what was your number one show of 2024?
My number one, super surprising for everyone here, was the show The Penguin. I don't know if a lot of people saw it. Pretty good. Some might say the greatest show of all time. I don't think I would say that.
Some might say it.
Say that. It's the greatest show of all time. Yes, just crazy. Why does Max eye rolls at my number 2 and then completely leaves at my number 1?
He's out.
Apparently, you've made him rattled. It's
unbelievable. It's just he knows what to expect from me. And he's just like, I'm out of here. I don't get it. I do feel the odd thing is I do feel like there's all these shows that I just haven't kept up on. So like Shogun, The Bear, From are all shows that I've started and just not kept up on. So my list could have been very different if I just, kept up on shows. But yeah, The Penguin was incredible. There's nothing more we can say about it. It was the best show of the year, and I don't even think it's close. So at least from what I watched. But Yeah, from the Penguin, number 1.
All right. Jarrett, what was your number 1?
To the surprise of absolutely nobody, my number 1 was the last season of Arcane. I am a degenerate League of Legends player, and I remember the launch of every single one of these characters and how messy the stories behind them were, but the hype of like, what if Vi and Jinx might be sisters? That would be crazy. And to see that go from, rumors from a YouTube short that Riot released to an actual full-fledged, well-written, and phenomenally acted series.
Yeah.
The last season of Arcane is my Roman Empire. This is something that I think about all the time, and the stories that they can say from there. So, Arcane is phenomenal.
Would some consider it the best show of all time?
Some would say that it's the best show of all time. Yeah, some would say that.
I don't think anyone said that. I don't think anyone said that.
Would.
Oh, so you're not.
Some people have said that about the Penguin.
Some people have said that about the Penguin.
Would Scott Higgins say that about Arcane?
I don't know. Scott did tell you all to go watch it.
I mean, we also told them all to go watch it, but if
what do we care?
It's so good.
All right, Zane, last one, number 1 show of 2024.
All right, not a surprise. Gonna keep the ball rolling. It's From. This show, it's too good, and not just from what we're getting from the show, but as a show of I am so excited to finish the episode, to wait for everyone else to watch the episode, to get the group chat going, to be like, all right, guys, let's get theories going. Yeah. And so just that feeling and that experience with it just increases the depths of how much that show is just enjoyable. So season 3 From, and I cannot wait for season 4.
It's all no-namers. All no-namers, too.
Yeah.
That's the craziest
Toaster in chat is 100% correct. We should be getting money from MGM Plus. We're plugging them up.
We really should, because it's the only reason MGM Plus exists.
The only ones talking about this show.
The only reason MGM Plus is worth it is From, because there's nothing else on that.
That's the only thing that's holding me back, man.
It's only like $4. Just binge it in a month.
It's worth
I have
it.
80.
I would pay money to watch that show again. So
right.
I just accidentally subscribed to a car washing place. I didn't even know I was doing it.
Dude, real talk, that happened to me 2 years ago too. Bubble Barn in Burnsville.
Mine is like Jimmy's in town or whatever, and it's like it was a deal. They were like, "You want to sign up for the subscription deal?" I was like, "How much is it?" It's $15, but it's normally $45. I was like, "Okay, cool." I didn't realize it was like a monthly thing. I just thought it was like I get it for 3 months. Nope.
Yes.
Nope. You're signed up.
I'm telling you, that's a car wash model. That is 1,000%.
I wish I would have with MGM Plus. I wish I would just accidentally stumble upon signing up for it. I'm pretty sure I'm signed up for Peacock, and I've never watched a single thing on there.
That's
so
funny.
watch
That's so funny. Yeah, go watch Teacup.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I think I got Peacock just to watch the Royal Rumble one year, and I've just been signed up since.
On Patrol Live, the best show on Peacock. On Patrol Live. Go watch it.
All right,
it's the best show on Peacock.
I'm not gonna do that.
So the number 1 show of 2024, the StanLee Award for the Infinity Bros.
What's it gonna be?
Goes to drumroll From season 3, which knocked it out of the park. 25 points. The next one up was the Penguin with 17, so it's not really that far off.
If anything, this proves that peer pressure works, specifically
it literally
when it comes
does,
from Max.
because that's the only reason I watch this show, because you guys peer pressured me too. So but I'm glad you did, because
trying
it was
to peer
worth
pressure Max with some shows and it never works.
And I'll tell you what, I the only reason I watched that show is because somebody else peer pressured me. So it's just
it is.
Notice none of us here have ever been able to peer pressure Max into anything.
That's the reason that I think the peer pressure worked, was because part of it was from Max, and I'm like, if Max is recommending a horror show, it's
a horror show.
It's gotta be good.
It's gotta be good.
Right.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. It was from Jake from the
State Farm.
State Farm.
I win. I got it first.
Is it Jake from State Farm?
Everyone said State Farm. Yeah, you know what? It was State Farm. I'm just gonna leave it
twice if Jake from State Farm is in the
I
room
don't
with
really
you.
know who it was. It's just gonna be Jake from State Farm from now on for all of us. So.
Yeah, moving forward, that's way more cool than what I was gonna say. So let's just do that.
Sweet, love it.
All right, boys. Two wonderful categories. Deadpool and Wolverine brings home the Infinity Bro StanLee for Best Movie of 2024. And From Season 3 takes home the StanLee for Best TV Show of 2024. So there you go. Let us know in the comments what your guys' favorite one was if you haven't already. And if you haven't typed in !ticket on Twitch, make sure you do that as well so you can
Get you a ticket.
Nope.
On the Infinity Bros store, merch store.
I just like the duck.
That's a good one. All right, two other categories here. So these are a little bit looser. They're kind of a little bit more, whatever we feel like throwing in there. Infinity Gems is kind of just whatever doesn't fit in the other categories. And then Bob Kane's is our worst thing of 2024. We're just going to go through those one by one. We're not going to,
we're not going to do the list of them, or like we're not going to snake draft it. Okay.
Yes, not going to snake draft it. So what do you guys want to do first? Bob Kane's or the Infinity Gems?
That's a good question.
Bob Kane's.
Bob Kane's?
Bob Kane's.
Bob Kane's. Here we go.
Negativity on the way first.
Max really wants to do the Bob Kane's, so he's going to go first.
A lot to say, apparently.
Yeah, get the bat out of the way.
What is the worst thing of 2024, Max?
Well, you want me to go from like the worst thing to like, it wasn't that bad.
Like, I mean, how we normally do things, like 6 all the way up to
start with and go to the worst.
Yeah, right.
Number 6 for me is Superman. The flying internet reaction they had to the clip of Superman in the trailer. I'm like, are we?
Oh, the internet reaction. Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't understand why people were upset about it.
Makes no sense.
I never got it. You'll hear me talk about that more. Number 5 is Echo's handling of Kingpin. Number 4 is all the transitions in the MCU and just how one day they got one answer, another day they got another. Jonathan Majors, all that crazy stuff. Number 3 is Sony doing everything but releasing Beyond the Spider-Verse. Literally, they've made all these movies.
Yeah,
they tried
that
to
makes sense.
them,
Literally,
and
3 of the things on my list are Sony projects.
And then all the bad things that they were saying were like, oh yeah, this has been delayed, or the directors are blah. And I'm just like, you have one job, get this right. Number 2 for me is Batman the Cape Crusader show. Huge disappointment.
Really?
From my perspective.
I've heard nothing but good things about that.
I did not enjoy it. I thought Bruce Timm was doing some different stuff that just wasn't for me.
I've not watched that yet. I really want to watch it. I'm not going to let what Max says.
It's okay. It's just my opinion.
It wasn't as good as the animated show, but it was like fine,
I just was disappointed.
Max thinks anyone can play Batman and can play the Joker. It's terrible. Yeah.
Number one hated show. I hated X-Men because
we all hate it, but it's weird how the top show was from, and like everybody wanted to watch it because of me. That's weird how that happens. And then Agatha All Along. That's number 1. Yeah, that's it.
The Agatha All. Okay, I can't really speak because I know a lot of the bad stuff.
It was fine. You only hate it because WandaVision.
You wanted my list. I gave you my
list.
list.
Things go.
WandaVision heard him 4 years ago, and he can't let it go.
There's a list.
That's actually exactly what we expect from Max, because Max won't actually watch a really bad movie. We know this. He hears that it's bad from Rotten Tomatoes or something, and he won't go.
I don't know. He saw the Batman Superman movies.
True. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
That's tough. That's a real tough. That's tough.
Oh, sad.
All right, I'm gonna go. Actually, Mark and I should go last since we have. Wait, you had a full list, dude. Does anybody else have a full list of Bob Kane's?
I got a full list.
Everybody got full list? Okay, never mind then.
I had help with one right before the show.
Infinity Gems is the one that we all didn't have a full list on.
I got
a full list. Well,
you were the one that said. I literally asked if we had a full list, and Mark and I were the only ones.
We're good now.
We just raised my hand, but you didn't acknowledge me, and I was very sad about it. But I didn't bring it up. Now I'm gonna.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna go ahead with my Bob Kane's on. Number 6, I lumped in everything that I didn't watch that everybody told me was bad, and I really only have 2 things on there: Umbrella Academy season 4 and Rebel Moon Part 2, because I watched all the lead ups to those, the first 3 seasons of Umbrella Academy and Rebel Moon Part 1, and they were, Umbrella Academy was good to start off. Like,
Remember when
just
Umbrella
kinda got
Academy was
worse and
good?
worse, right? I know.
Golly,
It's so
those were
sad.
the days.
So sad. But I didn't watch those. But from how bad they were received and how Mark tells me Umbrella Academy is like a 0.5 out of 6, I didn't watch that. So that's what I have for my number 6. Number 5,
Low praise.
Number 5, I have Acolyte. Really wasn't like, I wouldn't say it was bad, but it wasn't good, and it was a huge disappointment is why it makes my list. It was like a lot of hype for that show, and it just did not turn out how we all thought it would, unfortunately. So my number 4 is Venom 3. Did watch it. It was not good. It's still entertaining, but man, if you're looking to end a franchise on something, like, you want to go out with a bang, Venom 3 kind of went out with a whimper. Just wasn't. It was probably, I don't know. Venom 2 is bad though. Like, Venom 2 is straight up bad. So I don't know if it's as bad as Venom 2, but it was unfortunate. Joker 2 also is on my list, number 3.
Oh gosh, it's so bad.
It was bad,
Goodness.
but
Woof.
I think
Oh.
I had bought like the worst expectations ever going into it, because I thought it was going to be horrible.
Yeah.
The reviews all said it was going to be
I
horrible,
mean,
or that it was horrible. And it's not a 0 or a 1 out of 6 for me, but it's still pretty
probably to put it into perspective. You like terrorize yourself by watching Venom and like Craven
watched a
Hunter
lot
and
of bad
Madam Web and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
You watched all those. Like,
I watched a lot of
Joker
bad
2
movies.
probably wasn't as bad.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, like, it's one of those things where it's a totally unnecessary sequel. Why did they make it into a musical? It made 0 sense. It was stupid.
It's so
Yeah,
stupid.
dumb. Number
You
2,
can put Lady Gaga in a movie and not make her sing, guys. Like, that's fine.
epic fail. Epic
Are we
fail.
sure?
Yeah.
Don't be ridiculous, Jarrett.
Number 2 is
Yeah.
Craven, and Craven I put on the list more so because I'm kind of fed up with Sony as a
The cereal?
whole.
Cereal's pretty good.
Craven, yeah. Oh, you know what? I totally forgot that was a cereal.
Craven cereal's solid.
But I watched the first 8 minutes on YouTube because it was released inexplicably before the movie came out for some reason, and I don't know why Sony still is making movies, dude. It's rough. So Craven is number 2. My number 1 though is Madam Web. Like, legit bottom 5 worst superhero movie of all time. Honestly, I think like it's contests for worst superhero movie of all time in my mind. It is horrible. It is kind of fun to watch with people to make fun of. It's borderline like one of those movies that even with friends is a rough watch. So it's bad. It's real bad. So yeah, Madam Web is my number 1 thing for sure. All right, Mark, what was your list? Your Bob Canes.
Right. My Bob Canes. Okay, it includes Borderlands. Awful. I'm definitely one that's like, hey, don't listen to the critics. Go watch it, make your own opinion. It might have been right with this one. Might have been spot on. The Minecraft trailer, thought it looked awful. So
Gosh, it looks
I don't know
terrible.
what,
It does look bad.
maybe I'm
What
not
are they
just not-
doing?
Maybe I'm just not liking Jack Black anymore. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
I hope not. I hope the tide is not turning.
It's
against
just the
Jack Black.
direction.
That'd be
Yeah,
sad.
I hope not. But yeah, what are they
I'm
doing?
gonna throw the Hawktua girl under the bus with what she did.
Don't say
My
it.
number 3 is the Velma show. Did
Oh
anyone-
my
did
gosh,
anyone watch
yes.
it?
Yeah, that.
So, I struggled
that
to
was
get
this
through
year?
Season 1. I struggled to get through season
did
1
not watch
last
that.
year, and then there was a season 2. I'm like, they made a second.
They made a
season?
season.
They made a second
That's
season of
so
that.
funny.
Okay, oh, that's
God
why I'm
bless you.
confused because
Yeah.
season 1 was last year, right? Or was season 2
Yeah.
this year? I watched like 1.5
Or season
episodes
2
of
was
that
this year.
show, and it was complete garbage. So I did not
Yeah, dog.
continue. That was
Dude, well, it was.
Mark, God
And-
bless
That
you
was
for
Jinkies,
even
man.
attempting to watch all of that, man. Good for you.
Honestly.
That's another show where I'm like, how did this get approved? And how are people like? People are gonna love this. People are gonna connect. with
Who's
this. I was like,
asking for that?
You're using-
Exactly.
you're using a known content and IP, and you kind of bastardized it. That's what happened.
Yeah.
So, it was wild stuff.
I was
Alright,
late
so my
on.
number
I
2.
was late on the swear word. Quack.
Well, I use the word in the proper context, so technically it wouldn't be a swear word.
I just wanted to use the quack.
Wild. My All Academy season 4.
Oh
Complete
yes.
garbage. Just
Did
like,
you actually
He
watched
actually
it?
watched it. That's why I didn't watch it. 'Cause I
Wow,
took
you
Mark's
are a
word for it.
trooper.
Man, yeah,
Ellie
Mark.
wanted to watch it, and then we
You're a
both regretted
trooper.
starting it.
Mark, I undersell how many bad things you watch. I owe you an apology.
Incredible.
For this.
Yes,
Good for you, Mark.
He's committed. He does the
You
most.
do the dirty work. Yep.
I speak for those who can't speak for themselves.
Those who don't want to speak. Yeah.
And then my number one, which is funny, the movie came out in 24 and I watched it in 25. Madam Web, just a complete dumpster fire of a
So
movie.
bad,
Another movie where I'm
dude.
like, how does this?
I
Like, people
still
have to,
refuse to watch
film
it.
like edit it, and they're like, this will make us money, right? Yeah, it'll be fine. Or someone
good.
who's just like, hey, put it out so that we can
See,
keep the IP.
and
for
that
another years.
Madam Web
That's
has to be
that's
number
what's gotta
one
be.
because like the thing about most superhero movies that come out, like they're fine movies. Like they're edited fine, everything's fine about them. Madam Web is like bad production. That's where it gets me. It's like so bad. Like the villain is like a voiceover for the whole movie, even when he's actually talking on screen. It's like, what?
So funny.
What are you doing? Like it's so bad. I don't understand how it got through like the final editing phases.
Now I want to
I don't
hate
get it.
watch it. You guys have talked me into hate watching it
It's
now.
worth hate
We could've
watching.
done
It's
better.
bad. It's
Yeah.
bad. But it's not one of those enjoyable bad movies. That's why it's like it's hard.
And
It's not The Room, is what you're saying.
They didn't
No.
exploit the people they like casted. They played it like straight. It's just like, you would have had way more people going if they did certain things. But anyways, I digress.
Do you think it was just like we'll get some really pretty girls and put them in tight things and like not even exploit them, but just like
Right. And I'm just saying,
They
like,
just
there's
thought it would
an
work.
audience for that would have been hard going to that movie for those
Yeah,
reasons.
sure.
And like they didn't do that. It just seems wild. I think Sony's only making movies like these movies
it would have been what going to
to
that movie?
keep their IP, so then they don't lose it to Marvel. Like that's what
100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why
That's
they're
exactly
doing
what it is. Yeah.
Woof.
It's dumb. All right.
Gross.
So we don't dwell on this too long. Zane, go ahead with your list.
It's just
It's just
Madam
gonna make
Web.
me mad.
All six is Madam Web.
Madam Web. 1, 2,
Oh, Madam Web.
All
He goes
the
through
actors
each
are that are in the movie.
character.
No, my number 6. Not that it's really something you can control, but it was sad. The passing away of Akira Toriyama. Just because so much of the childhood
Yeah.
DBZ and stuff, that was enough. That I was like, that one.
that'll do it. Yeah, that sucks.
Number 5. I don't know why this one stuck out to me. I think it's just because it was so cringe. Do you remember the thing that took the internet by storm? That Willy Wonka chocolate experience that they
Oh my
had.
gosh.
Yeah.
I totally forgot
Good
about that.
That was
answer.
this
Good
year,
answer.
and I just you look at those pictures, and I'm just like,
No,
what
that's
was
insane.
someone
Dude,
thinking
the
about?
lore behind that is just great. I just
right,
love it.
like that needs to get a documentary because
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
they should. Oh, that's great.
My number 4 was the game Concord.
Oh my
Just,
gosh.
what an absolute nightmare! I don't think I've ever seen a game just shut down that fast.
This podcast has lasted longer just tonight than the entire game of Concord.
Yes.
Literally,
Literally.
Shorter than that.
I maybe like a month. I think I don't remember the total.
I don't
date,
even
but,
think it was a month. I think it was 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I think you're right. Actually, I think it was under a month.
Yeah, it was real
And
bad.
They spent millions of dollars on that game. Wild. All right. Number 3 is Madam Web.
Number
That's just
3.
probably that's
Oh.
you just have to hate watch
Sydney
it.
Sweeney's
Like
same
it's
time.
literally you just have to watch it because of
I
how
might
bad
go
it
hate
is.
watch it right after this. That might be
Just
what I
throw
do
it on.
tonight.
Same.
Just throw it on.
Tell you what, this might be a
Um,
fantasy football punishment at this point. You guys are
right, right.
wow, man.
Watch Madam Web
You
for
have to
24
watch it
hours
in
straight.
hotel.
All day long. Oh my god.
No
Oh.
phone watching Madam Web.
In the Clown Motel. Number 2 for me is the Acolyte. Just I think part of it too was just the press and everything outside of the actual show itself. Like they thought it was going to be such a grand thing. It just wasn't. It just so much of it was just so disappointing. And you're like, this could have been really good.
There
And they
was
acted
good
like it was.
pieces, but it just
There was
wasn't
good
enough.
pieces. It wasn't enough. It was just so disappointing.
It was Star Wars's Secret Invasion. Like it was
Yeah.
Secret Invasion.
Yeah.
If you disassociate everything, like the MCU, the comics, the show itself is not horrible. Like it's not great, but it's still like. But if you add in everything, all the context, just huge disappointment. Absolute disappointment.
Right.
And with
And then-
is just like they ended it, and it's like I wanted a sequel because
you
of
had
what we
to
saw.
answer
Because of
those
how they
questions
ended
that
it,
they
yeah,
raised. Like
right.
you
Right.
needed a season 2 to make that season 1.
Sorry, how does
better.
that get a season 2 and Velma doesn't even get a season 2?
Velma,
Velma
oh
got
my
a season
gosh.
2 and
Yeah,
that
for
doesn't.
real.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Stupid.
All right, but my number one worst, most disappointing, upsetting, dumb thing of 2024 was me almost dying.
That's a good
So-
thing to have on the list.
Yeah.
I
Hold on, I'm
figured that's
changing my number one.
I think that's a good thing to be at number one. Yeah.
Love that.
You didn't die. Agatha all along was worse.
Yeah, whatever.
There
You're
was-
right now.
There was a brief moment where I was tempted to put that at number 2 and Acolyte at number 1, but I was like, oh,
That's so
Oh.
funny.
Zane, I
Good
went.
for the bit.
Zane, I went down there and I saw you. Agatha all along was worse.
Touche.
All right, Jarrett. Let's
Well,
hear
we're
about
glad that you're
Kane's.
alive, Zane. Thank you.
Thank
Some of
you.
us are.
We are.
Whoa, Zane, I'm happy you're alive too. I'm just gonna go ahead and put that on the record. And yeah, good on you, buddy.
Did Mark say we or did he say he? I thought he said we.
Oh, I said me.
Oh,
Yeah,
just
I
personally.
personally, hey Zane, look in the camera with me.
I don't want to speak for Max, Robbie. Or
I'm
Isaac.
glad you're alive.
Thank you, Jared.
I'm kind of 50-50
We
about it.
are all glad you're alive, Zane.
He's married
Except for
somebody
Robbie.
else, so
Robbie's
Robbie's
50-50
upset. My number 6 is Gladiator 2. Not because it was a bad movie necessarily, but because it should have been so much better. Like it is a disappointingly beat for beat remake of the first movie, and I had such high hopes for this. And again, it's not a bad movie. It's just the fact that it could have been. It flew too close to the sun. It could have been great. Number 5 is Acolyte. We don't need to rehash it for all the reasons that everybody said. Star Wars has been full of ups and downs, and I'm trying to figure out if I'm more disappointed in this than Boba Fett. I think Boba Fett's more just because we love Boba Fett as a character. But yeah, it was not great. Number 4 is Concord. I actually thought this game looked good. I don't know what their deal was for canning it so fast, but I was like, I don't hate it. Like, it didn't look worth shutting down over. Number 3 was Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. I watched this fight.
Oh,
Good point.
It was so awful, dude. It was so hard to watch, and the fact that Jake Paul walked away from that with the biggest ego, and I'm like, dude, you fought an old man.
Dude, did you see
anybody who
did you
watched
see
that fight? He was
on a
tired.
recent stream?
lucky that you
Jake
were
Paul
able to
talked
watch
about
it.
him having Mike Tyson having Parkinson's. I don't know if that's recently after the fight, but Jake Paul just talked about it on a Twitch stream or something recently that he's been diagnosed with Parkinson's.
I think
good
Jake
for
Paul
you,
just kind of
dude.
says things.
He probably does.
Yeah.
You beat
Dude,
a 6-year-old guy with Parkinson's. Great. Good for
Well,
you,
it was-
man. Way to go.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not about to step to Mike Tyson. I don't want to punch the face from him, but also Jake Paul.
Just dance
you should
around a little
not be
bit.
Proud of that. Yeah, for real.
We'll get the fight
Number
now.
2, and this is something that I recently found out, and I dug deep into this. This was I put on my Mark hat and I went all over the internet to find out what's going on with this. Shamik Moore, who cannot keep his mouth
Oh my
shut.
goodness.
Yeah, I saw the
And
stuff
he's-
on that. Yeah.
Yeah, and is absolutely crashing the plane for the Spider-Verse.
Yeah,
movie.
what is that guy
Is
doing?
insane. He is he's the internet weirdo that we think a lot of other people are. I don't know what his deal is, but he's got to get his stuff together.
We love you, but we love you because you voice somebody.
Yeah, your voice acting is great.
Yeah,
Keep it
you're
to
not
that,
you're
bud.
not a megastar. You're a voice actor.
Oh my
We love you,
gosh.
but that's all you are.
Number 1, I am a big Neil Gaiman fan. Obviously not anymore, but I was a big
yeah.
Neil Gaiman fan.
Yeah, he had a
And,
hard fall, dude.
Yeah.
All
Did
the
that
stuff
happen right
that's
at the end
coming
of
out
the
with
year?
him. Huh?
Did that happen right at the end of the year, right? Or was
Yeah,
that,
it was
middle of the year?
mid-December where all his
That's what I
stuff
thought.
came
Okay.
out. And dude, it is horrifying to see some of the stuff that's come to light, and like sexual trafficking charges and stuff. I'm like, well,
Interesting that a lot of
that
celebrities have been
sucks.
charged with that in the last few years. Very
I
interesting.
mean, I'm glad they are, but yeah.
Very interesting.
Oh my gosh, I had to I have a bunch of Sandman comic books, that I was like,
Yeah.
these are going in the trash right now.
Oh no, hold on. You should try to sell them. There might be a buyer.
No, I threw them away. I wasn't having it. Yeah. A lot of bad things happened this year. I'm gonna keep it to those 6.
Appreciate that. All right, Robbie, cap us off with your Bob Kane's for 2024.
My Bob Kane's for 2024. Number 6 is Zane getting engaged to somebody that's not me. That's my number 6.
Love that.
Understandable.
Kind of selfish of him. Can't believe he never proposed after all these years. But whatever, he found some lady. That's my number 6. Thank you. My number 5 is Gladiator 2 for all the same reasons Jarrett was saying. Jarrett and I actually watched this at my house. I bought the effing movie to watch it, and I was like, okay, this can't be like just a Gladiator 1 rehash. We're like, we'll just ignore that this is a sequel. It'll be its own standalone thing. Well, you can't, because it's literally the entire movie kicks you in the face with how good the first movie was. So, yeah, Gladiator 2, big disappointment for me, just because it should have been so much better if you're actually going to go back to Gladiator. My number 4, Megamind came back and had a movie this year. I don't know if you guys knew this. Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate.
It was bad.
Absolute garbage. Animation garbage. Everything about it was terrible. And it was a real big disappointment. I know we here on the podcast are big Megamind fans.
Yeah.
But Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate was hot garbage and could not recommend it.
Zane has a Megamind tattoo in places we can't show on stream.
Yeah, we can't talk about that on stream. Yeah. Check the Patreon. Number 3 is Rebel Moon and everything to do with Zack Snyder. That's it. That's number 3.
So just Zack Snyder.
Everything that Zack Snyder's ever done. That's it. Number 2 is Moana 2. I was very disappointed in this movie. It's fine, I guess. It's just not nearly as good as it could have been. Like, there's no catchy song. Like, it's probably one of the most forgettable sequels they've made in a very long time, and they've done really well with sequels recently.
Yeah, Robbie, you're spot on. Spot on with your assessment. Spot on.
It should have been so good, and it was like a cash grab for Disney, who doesn't need to do cash grabs. So, yeah, not a big fan of Moana 2.
And they're like setting up a third one now.
Yeah, they're setting up a third one. It's like, do we need a third one? I don't know after that. And then my number 1 is Joker 2. Speaking of things we didn't need, Joker 2 was awful, especially after how good Joker the first one was. I was like, oh, I'll be optimistic if we're gonna do a second one. But then, we got announced that it's a musical, and then you're really like, stressed about it, and it comes out and it's awful, and it's just absolute garbage. And forcing myself to watch that was painful. So yeah, Joker 2 is my number 1 Bob Kane. Yeah, real bad.
Yeah, that was rough.
There you go. That's the list.
Right. We don't tally up these or the Infinity Gems, but Acolyte was on a lot of our lists, so it might be that one.
Joker 2 and Acolyte were on a lot of the lists.
I mean, like
and Madam Web.
Madam
Web.
Zane dying is probably a good one to have on there. I mean, like, if Zane died, would we be having this podcast right now? Like, I don't even know.
Why not?
Absolutely not.
You definitely
we
would.
Were gonna,
you
we were
wouldn't be
going to
doing
do the
top
podcast
six.
with him before he was even on here. What are you guys talking about? We were about to start.
But
Robbie's right. Robbie's
the flavor would be off, because who would be on the PlayStation? I'm not going to do that.
Exactly.
Good point. Somebody has to do it. It's got to be Zane.
Well, Max can do it.
Smart Nick would do it. You're right. What am I saying?
All right, there we go.
We just convinced one of the people we already know to be a part of it.
Just put him in a Zane wig.
In the podcast world.
Yeah.
All right, Zane Ellis, here he is. All right, that's our Bob Kane.
No one would know.
Moving
Where
on
this
to
skin suit we made.
Oh, no.
The Enigma has 2 faces.
He's really the Enigma now. All right, Infinity Gems, guys. This is literally whatever you want to put in there. Good things, obviously, but movies, TV shows, we already had those lists. This could be video games, could be events, could be literally whatever else you want to put on there. So let's go opposite direction. Robbie, you want to go first?
Starts off sick. We're gonna start with two Henry Cavill related things. Henry Cavill in the Deadpool Wolverine movie for 5 seconds is
Spicy.
maybe the greatest 5 seconds of my life.
Great cameo.
And then Henry Cavill announcing he's working on the Warhammer show.
Yeah.
Which is going to be epic. Henry Cavill is the world's most lovable giant nerd. He literally left the Witcher series because they wouldn't stay true to the books or how the character should be written. And he was like, "Peace out, you guys suck." And now he's doing his own thing and doing Warhammer. And guy knows so much lore about Warhammer, and that's going to be really, really good, I imagine, as long as they just let him do his thing. So, starting off with 2 from Henry Cavill. My number 1, 2, 3, 4 is Marvel's first drop into Magic the Gathering as a secret layer this year. So we finally got some Marvel cards in Magic the Gathering. It's my one way to get all of you to play. And we have a Spider-Man set coming out this year, but that's on the list. But we got Captain America, Black Panther, Storm, and Wolverine in a secret layer drop for Magic the Gathering. That was huge.
If I had an honorable mentions for Bob Kane, it would be how freaking hard it was to get that set. It was impossible.
That's a whole other story. My number 3 is not so much this movie itself, but just what it means for potential movies is Lord of the Rings War of the Rohirrim. Really, really enjoyed the movie. It wasn't amazing, but it opens the door for more things in that realm, like animated Lord of the Rings films, which I think I'm more on board with that rather than ever doing another live action thing. But I really enjoyed War of the Rohirrim. It's really fun. Good little watch. It did really, really bad at the box office, so we'll see if they make more like in like theater things, or if they just do like straight to your TVs. But we'll see. My number 2 is Roadhouse, the remake that they did with Jake Gyllenhaal. It was kind of a guilty pleasure, honestly. Like I really, really enjoyed watching Roadhouse. I don't know why. I just really, really liked that movie. It was a fun movie. So that's my number 2. And then my number 1, I imagine a lot of people's number 1 is going to be Marvel Rivals. Obviously, we've all taken a lot of time into Marvel Rivals. That game came out of literally nowhere, at least to me. Had no idea that was even coming, and instantly is the only game that all of us play. So Marvel Rivals is my number 1 Infinity Gem of the 2024 year.
Nice. All right, Jarrett, hit us with your list.
My number 6 is Not Like Us, Euphoria, everything that came out of the Drake and Kendrick beef. If you're a Kendrick fan at all, this was a good year for you. And he just like it was constant. Like every single time that Drake would have like even a breath on Twitter, Kendrick would drop a new single, and they were all good, right? Like not a single one missed, in my opinion. In fact, listening to Meet the Grams, dude, he went hard for no reason. Like it was crazy how much he went into that. Number 5 is a comic book that I picked up this year. It's called The Devil That Wears My Face. It is a horror comic in the vein of like Exorcist or Face Off, if you love the classic movie Face Off. It's the story of an exorcist who accidentally during his exorcism swaps bodies with the demon. And so he, as a priest, is going around like doing these horrible things, but it's the demon in his body, and he's in the body of, I think, a serial killer. I read that book at the beginning of the year, so I can't remember exactly which, but it's so good. It's phenomenal. Number 4 is Space Marine 2. I'm a big fan of Warhammer, and I think this was a nice addition to the franchise. It's a game that Zane and I played a little bit of. Robbie dipped his toes into, and I'm still grinding away at it. I have a feeling that this is going to be something in the veins of No Man's Sky, where the release is good, but it didn't necessarily live up to the hype, because I think people were kind of low on Space Marine 2 after a week or two, but it's continued to put out content, and I think they're going to revamp quite a bit of stuff that's going to continue to make it better than it was. Number 3 is Helldivers 2. We all went hard for Helldivers 1, or at least most of us did, and Helldivers 2 was a great addition to the franchise. And they've continued to do a lot with that. There was a lull period there where things were not great. I think they're coming back in a big way. So I've been pivoting back and forth between that and Rivals. Speaking of Rivals, that is my number 2. Again, this was a game that came out of nowhere. I love these like hero shooter genre. I played a lot of Overwatch 1. Overwatch 2 was not that for me. But Rivals has been phenomenal. I think it's brought out my competitive side. I grind away. I got to high gold and I was about to swap over into plat. And every time I like reach for the stars and get too close to the sun, I fall back down to silver. But someday I'm gonna make like a real run for competitive. And my number 1 is Shadow of the Erdtree, which was the expansion, the DLC expansion for oh my gosh, my brain Elden Ring. Thank you.
Elden Ring?
Oh my gosh, my brain just gave out completely right there. I love Elden Ring. I love all the FromSoft games. And this expansion did so much for the game, story-wise and gameplay-wise. And I think it really set up the future for like what they want to do with these FromSoft games. Obviously, we got Night Rain announced, and that's kind of folded into this. But just the future of FromSoft is looking phenomenal for anyone who's a fan of their properties.
So good that you forgot its name. It's crazy.
Yeah, so good that I forgot its name.
That one game that I like to play a lot.
It's my favorite game ever.
It's my favorite game of all time. What is it called again?
Yeah, I can open Stranger Things in it.
All right, Zane, what is your Infinity Gems list?
All right, so for mine, at number 6 is Helldivers 2. A ton of fun there, and that took up a good chunk of the time. And just from what we had from the first one, that's my number 6. Number 5 for me is Black Myth Wukong.
Oh yeah.
An incredibly fun game. Combat is similar to what we had in Elden Ring, but it's all based on Chinese like lore and mythology. So it's been super fun. The fighting's really fun. So I really enjoyed that one. Number 4 for me is Space Marine 2. Because me and Jarrett dabbled a bit, but even just having some introduction kind of into that Warhammer universe, and like I'm dipping my toes in a little bit, and it's been fun. Number 3 for me is actually Rivals. That just came in late into the year, and it's just taking it by storm. It's just what all of us are playing. Super fun. Number 2 for me is actually College Football 25. Because I was always huge college football, and like we finally got it back after 10 years.
That's a good pick.
And just that's also what we've been playing a ton of outside of Rivals. And then my number 1 Infinity Gem, obviously, is my gorgeous fiance Annika.
Now
need I say
I have to take Mark's spot for mentioning her on the podcast.
Annika's good at knocking Mark down a peg, so we're keeping her up here.
Oh, wow, Zane, let's go.
Oh yeah,
I love that for you, buddy.
Yeah. Some big things happening.
Oh, good for you.
Doesn't die and then gets engaged.
Yeah, this guy doesn't die and then is getting married. It's crazy.
Good stuff. Probably gonna live like 40 minutes.
Was almost dying the best thing that could have happened?
Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah.
All right, Mark. What was your list? Your Infinity Gems.
My list. My number 6. Really not. Anyways, let's go into it. Caitlin Clark going to the WNBA. It made me more hyped for the WNBA.
Yeah, dude.
This year, and just seeing like and just all the drama that pursued out of it, and like people say, oh, it's not just Caitlin Clark. It's like literally all the eyeballs came for her, and there are really good athletes that came out of that draft, but in rookies wise, but all the money that's being pumped into that is because of Caitlin Clark. So just love seeing that.
Watch more women's basketball than men's basketball last year.
Same. I watched. Crazy. Yeah, exactly. Number 5. I've been getting in. This is another just random thing. I've been getting into online auctions, finding like sports cards and like
nice
Pokemon and Magic cards and comic books for like fairly cheap. So that's been a fun like kind of hunt. My number 4 would be Helldivers 2. Basically, that's the game that got me to buy a PS5.
man.
So
And aren't you glad you did?
And then we all
now
dropped it a week later.
no, we played it pretty religiously for
Yeah,
about
we
10
played it
months.
for a while.
I came in right at the right time. I didn't
Mm.
like max a bit and come in late and then got mad. But I digress. My number 3 would be the release of Surging Sparks Pokemon. Got me like
nice.
that type was kind of nice, so that was fun. It's still fun. Number 2 would be Rivals. And then my number 1 was the Twin Cities Con. Always
let's
fun
go.
going.
Oh, nice, yeah.
Nice.
That's my list.
Awesome. All right. My number 6 is we've been working with this company called GameSir, and they sent me some sweet controllers this year that I was very excited about and used quite a bit. Like, I've never been a huge mobile gaming guy because I just can't sit and stare at that tiny screen for so long, and then using my fingers for the touchscreen controls, I can't do it. But I got this legit controller from them that I finally am like, oh, okay, now mobile gaming's on the table.
Mm-hmm.
And then they sent us.
This is the only reason that this is one of theirs. This is the only reason I've been playing games on my PC because I am awful at mouse and keyboard.
Dude, yeah, and they sent me 2 legit ones. Like, they sent me their Tarantula, which is like their high tier one, and then they sent me that Thanos one. And the Thanos one, like, I haven't used that one quite as much because it's a Bluetooth one, so it's just a little, like, there's a teeny bit of a lag when you're using it with your Switch or phone or whatever. But still, like, the fact that they sent us that as like a gift for working with them, that was just like so right up our alley, and it was so cool to be like recognized like that. So GameSir controllers, pretty legit. You can check out our TikToks for the reviews on them. But that was my number 6. Number 5 was Helldivers 2. Helldivers 2 was the first like online game that I've gotten into for a really, really long time. Like, I don't even remember what the last one was, honestly. It was so fun to get on that with the boys, and it just got that feeling back of like, all right, when are we getting on? When are we going to play again? And I'm sad that it kind of went away. We played it consistently for a good month or 2, I feel like. A little sad that it went away, but replaced with something
that's
better.
saying something for us.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
A good month or 2 is really saying something for us.
He's solid on the games that we're playing for more than 2
Well, I think
weeks.
I kind of got in on this, like, I think week 2 of that game, and that's why I wasn't as like big into it as all of you guys were.
It was
late to the party.
I mean, like, we played Helldivers 1. I feel like that was the launching point for a lot of us. Like, played a lot of Helldivers 1 and streamed it even on our Off-Topic Gamers. And throwback to that, but good times. But my number 4 is also College Football 25. Man, I just doing the connected franchise between a lot of us here has just been so much fun, and it's one thing that I look forward to doing like every week. So that's been also a blast. My number 2 was Marvel Rivals. I'm having more fun in this than probably any other online game I've ever played. And I'm not even joking about that. I've just never been a big multiplayer online guy. And I feel like I can actually be competitive in this game. And it's just fun. It's fun. So, and another game, again, that you can just be like, all right, guys, when are the boys getting together? Like, it brings me back to the days of like Fortnite, like, 2018 when we're like, oh, when are we dropping, boys? When are we dropping? It's just the good old days of gaming, and it's bringing me back when we have like 6+ guys in a PlayStation party, and we're like waiting for a spot to open up so we can get in on the competitive matches and stuff. It's a blast. It's really fun. My number 2 was also Twin Cities Con. Had a blast with Mark. It was really fun to check out all the stuff. Hoping that this year we can have a table at Twin Cities Con and maybe a few other cons. But it was just a blast. Met a lot of different creators and podcasters and stuff. Really fun, and able to hang out with Mark and Joey there as well was fun. So, and then my number 1 is hitting 200 episodes on the Infame Bros podcast. The fact that we've been doing this for, it'll be 6 years this year, is wild. And I feel like, like I said before, year 6, we have 6 of us, 6 Infinity Stones. I feel maybe this is our year. Maybe it is. I don't know. Who knows? So yeah, that's my Infinity Gems for 2024. Max, close this off. What were your Infinity Gems of 2024?
I went more pop culture with it than other people, so forgive me. But actually, except my number one. My number one is different. Number 6 was the Deadpool cameos. I think when Blade walked in, that was special, and Gambit, that was pretty wild. I'm chasing that feeling. From is my number 5. I'm just so thankful for this show, and not just that it's a great show, but that people that are smarter than me are watching it now and can tell me things that I would never have been able to figure out. Number 4 is the Superman trailer, and I'm so in on this movie. Like, I am so ready for this Superman movie. I just can't wait. I just think this trailer is great. Number 3 is San Diego Comic-Con for Marvel. I thought this was one of their best cons. I know that polarizing things that they're doing and things like that, but I'm a fan of the Robert Downey Jr. news. At the moment, I'm excited about it. So as of today, we'll see if that changes.
Flip it.
I think. What'd you say?
Flip it.
Yeah, well, there could be a
Flip it.
chance that I'm wrong, but as of today, I'm excited about that. Number 2 is the emergence of Rivals. You guys haven't quit playing it. I'm really excited about that. Thank you for not quitting to play it yet. Robbie understands this. Like, you got to test your heart when you step into things with our friend group, and hope that people don't abandon you. And so nobody's abandoned me yet. And then number 1 is Zane getting engaged after not dying. Is literally what I wrote. I literally wrote that hours ago, Zane. I just wanted to be known. I wrote that hours ago. He got engaged after not dying.
After not dying. What a comeback.
Yeah.
What a comeback.
Don't call
Zane
it a comeback.
Is the number one.
Don't call it a comeback.
Is my number 1
It's been here
Don't
for
call it a
years.
comeback.
Infinity Gem. So there we go.
Oh gosh, good stuff. Good stuff. Oh man, that was some good stuff. Good memories brought up from 2024 with that category. Love it. All right, guys, if you have any ideas on what your Infinity Gems would be, make sure you throw that in chat. I'm going to go ahead and draw this giveaway. So if you have not yet, make sure you go to our Twitch stream, type in !ticket to get in on the drawing for an Infinity Bros merch item. You guys can go to the store, check it out, and then pick out whichever thing you want. I'm literally
Get your
sending
merch.
one from one of our other giveaways from the 12 Days of Infinity Bros Christmas. Now finally got around to getting that all made up, and then Robbie is going to be going to Infinity Bros.
You didn't let me in.
Robbie is going to MagicCon in Chicago next weekend. Can you tell us a little bit about that, Robbie, and what we can expect from you at that?
I will be at MagicCon Chicago. I'll be there Thursday through Sunday. So, lined up a few things. Hope to see a lot of people that I've met online. Had a lot of people reach out about potentially seeing me there and playing games or whatever. But going with a group of guys that I met through Magic and through social media and whatnot. Become pretty decent friends with them as well. So I'll be in MagicCon Chicago. I don't know how much content we'll get out of that. I've heard in the past it's hard to like do a bunch of content when you're there unless you like really want to go out and do it. And this is my first full con, so I might just kind of take the experience in and enjoy it instead of trying to make it work. So I'm really, really excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. Didn't get a creator badge, even though I am an ambassador for the set that the con is based on. So
that's
make that make sense.
Obnoxious. That's obnoxious.
makes very little sense.
Make that make sense. I can't make it make sense, but it is what it is. It's okay. I'm happy to pay and go and hang out and meet a bunch of people that I met through online. So all my online friends are going to become real life friends. At MagicCon Chicago, hopefully, starting Saturday. So yeah, hope to see anyone that's in chat there. Yeah.
I love that you not getting the creator pass didn't make your Bob Kane, but me getting engaged to someone else did.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. 100%.
That's true.
Nice.
The big moment.
All right. We are going to close the giveaway right now. Giveaway closed.
I hope I win.
All right. And we're going to draw a winner. I think it automatically. Oh, it said you can no longer enter the giveaway. Okay, perfect. And we're going to draw the winner of the Infinity Bros merch item.
Get your match.
Nope, we're drawing another
Oh,
winner.
gosh, I have to do it again. Mark,
Mark, what are you doing?
you won, Mark.
That's
Scry
hilarious.
Society.
Hey,
there we go.
Scry
Scry
I want to date with
Society
Robbie. That's what I want
is
from the store.
the
Oh, yeah.
winner.
Our Society is also an
Yes,
ambassador
those of
for
you
Magic.
guys listening
He's
on
awesome.
audio, Mark won our Twitch giveaway, so we gave it to Scry Society instead. There you go.
Let's go, Scry
Scry Society. So
Scry Society is awesome.
we will whisper you on Twitch so we can get your info and see what you want from the Infinity Bros merch store. So
I'm picturing Scry Society as like a gnome behind Scryfall, just like quickly flipping through the cards on your screen so that you get what you need.
I don't know what that means, but I'm assuming that's a funny joke.
That's a funny joke for me and Robbie.
There we go. There it is.
There it is.
All right, guys. Anything else to add before we start closing out our 2024 StanLee Awards?
Yeah, can I say a little thing?
Yes, absolutely. Go for it.
This year, I am going to try to commit to do a lot more streaming on our Twitch. I was going to try to do it today, but I want to fix this. I finally got the Infinity Bros hung up.
Nice.
But I'm looking at doing some of my Warhammer stuff because I like to chill, listen to a little bit of music, paint my Warhammer models, and talk to people. And then because we've been grinding away at Rivals, if my internet at my new place can handle Rivals and streaming, we'll be streaming some of that as well.
Yes.
And Moto is the other one. If you're an MTG fan and you like MTGO, I am trying to get back into Modern, and so Robbie has been helping me figure out how to kind of dip my toes into that. I played Moto forever ago, but I'm catching up on it again. So yeah, catch us on stream.
More streams.
Yeah, more streams. More streams better. Awesome. All right, guys. Yeah, anything else to add moving into 2025 from the Infinity Bros? Besides,
stand by for the special Zane Ellis wedding live.
Yeah, the Zane Ellis wedding's gonna be crazy.
His wedding?
Entire wedding.
That would be awesome.
We got a lot going. We
Yeah.
got 2 babies on the way in this group, and
Yeah.
2 babies.
We're going to do
Zane's
our best to
getting married.
keep up with content. I know, honestly, Rivals has been taking away from our content more than anything else has, like in the past, 5 years of doing content, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I digress. But yeah, 2024 was an awesome year. Looking forward to more in 2025. So, all right, guys. I think that's it. That's all we got. If you want to hear more from the Infinity Bros, make sure you go to theinfinitybros.com for all of our links. You can check out our store. If you didn't win and you want something, make sure you check out our store for some sweet, sweet merch. And then pay attention to the Twitch stream for Zane's wedding coming up later this year. So
That's right.
Yeah.
all right, guys, wherever you're listening, however you're listening, thank you so much for making us a part of your podcast experience. We love you 3000. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Infinity Bros podcast. You can find the Infinity Bros on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube at The Infinity Bros. You can also check out our website at theinfinitybros.com for links, reviews, and sweet merch. Feel free to send us listener feedback via social media or email at infinitybrospodcast@gmail.com.